Unfortunately, we are live. What's up, everybody?
Wow, the chat reads like
that
shit.
looks awful.
Oh, is it that bad? All right, hold on.
It's so stretched.
Let me adjust. Okay.
Oh, that was rough.
Is that better? We'll have to move
It's
this.
not lined up at all.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to move some stuff.
Do you really need all this extra crap on the screen?
What? Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Working with it. Just chill. Yeah, new layout, new stuff. Trying out some mixed stuff. Just give it a second.
Before you talking.
You're just getting worse. Oh Lord!
Just give me a second, okay? Damn.
You're changing the
I
wrong
miss the
thing.
I miss the old Kanye. Bring it back.
Okay. How's that for today? Until I figure out a way to make
I
it
would just
better.
get rid of it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That looks pretty fucking rough.
Who is it there for? What is it? What is it there for?
All right, hold on.
Because you can already see the chat.
All right. Hold on. Nope.
There you go. No, just yes, do that.
Hold on. I understand what you want, but I wanted to throw this up there.
Look at these old transitions go, man. First stream with it, boys. We gotta be patient.
I don't know where to put this.
Why do you need it at all? What is the point of it?
Get rid of it.
All right, fine.
Do you need two chats on the screen for no reason?
We can read the chat.
You could already read the chat.
The chat does. I wanted to add a chat in. It's okay. Calm down.
There's already a chat.
All right, fuck it. For today, we'll do this. I'm gonna figure out a way to implement that chat. Most streams have the chat live on the screen, so you don't have to look at because then you have to, if you're on like mobile or something or tablet and you have the chat open, it makes the screen smaller. So they like to have the chat overlaid on the stream to make it not smaller. It makes sense. Thanks. They do it. But anyway, hello everybody. Sorry about that technical delay. I just wanted to see how bad or good it was. What's going on? New layout and stuff. We are trying some new things. There is some new layouts that we have active. I'm gonna get rid of this real quick for the time being, and this will be when I figure out how to make the chat actually look good. This will be a live chat layout we have where you guys in the VOD will be able to see the chat on the screen, so you don't have to have it on open as a second thing. And also we have that's not needs to go away. We have a rankings, but you can't see it at the current moment because it's not there. But I was gonna show you. We're working on some new things. I'm testing some stuff out. It's not perfect yet. We're gonna make it work. But who's that fourth dude? That's Anthony Fantano.
That's the needle drop. That's Melon right there.
Better known as, let me show off his channel. The
biggest music reviewer on YouTube.
He actually is almost at 3 million subscribers. So you know what? Just for his sake, there you go, Mr. Needle Drop. I'll subscribe to your channel.
Well, you are him, so.
I am okay. That's something we gotta dispel ASAP. No Rocky, because that shit is bull.
You just say you agree with everything he says.
I really don't.
He doesn't know. So
let's give a quick shout out to everyone who came here early: Cosmic, AT Field, Hugo, Carnicorn, Jonathan, Pedro, and I think that is everyone that got here early. Thank you guys for coming in. Appreciate it. Edited and post. Well, this is not recording yet, so I won't have to edit that part out. This is just a live stream. And you know what? We're figuring it out. And I want to have the chat on the screen so people who watch the VOD or people who watch during the live stream on like mobile and on mobile and on tablets, which is actually, I was looking at the analytics, a surprisingly higher amount of people than I thought it was for our stream or for our channel. They can have the chat they can see the chat on the stream and don't have to make the stream smaller to see it. And we already have a lot of stuff on our screen, so I'll figure out a way to make it work. But for now, we'll just go with this and we'll make it work. You know, guys, I'm curious. Since I'm 30, has Anthony Fantano been influential? Anthony Fantano been influential for you guys a bit younger than me in terms of influence and musical taste?
Yes.
For
No,
Cole and Noah, yes. For me, no.
No.
Not
I
at
mean,
all.
what do you mean by influential? Like,
he has shown me a couple cool albums, but his opinions do not influence me in any way.
I mean, I don't like. I'm not concerned about what he thinks of certain music, but he does have a really good track record of introducing me to music that I now love. So I appreciate him for that. But his opinions about this music, I don't really care.
Because for me,
He
it's
does typically tend to have pretty good taste in music, though.
I'll say this. I've been not a fan of his for a long time, in terms of his critiquing of artists. But I'll say, according to these two, I have agree far more than even they agree with him.
You
So
do.
I don't know how I'll feel about his worst to best, but yeah, we're about to find out. All right, so the idea for this stream, this is a two-part stream. First part, we are going to react to his Radiohead worst to best discography video, as you guys can see. We're going to record that. We're going to also upload that later. But also, we have a paid album request we're going to do after we finish this video. It is a Peter Gabriel stream, or is a Peter Gabriel album. So if you are a Peter Gabriel fan, stick around for that. And hello, Joel Guitar Eater. Okay, so how it's going to work. We already, if you guys hadn't seen the last stream we did, we finished our Radiohead discography studio albums ranking. We put all of them together. You can go see how we all rated each of them, 1 to 9, 9 to 1, I guess. And we're going to just basically say, do we agree with Fantano, the needle drop? Do you want to call him the needle drop or Fantano? What's he better known by?
Fantano.
Fantano. We're gonna see what the needle or Fantano thinks about Radiohead and where he places their studio albums. Might skip around a bit. There probably is a lot of filler content in here, so I'm probably just gonna skip ahead to the actual album rankings. And yeah, we'll go on from there. You guys ready?
Sure.
Mhm.
All right, fantastic. Let's do this. Freezes once again because it always does. Gotta wait a second. Okay, great. What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the 3 Days Talking podcast. Today we have a special little video for you guys. We are going to be reacting to Mr. Anthony Fantano, aka the Needle Drops, Radiohead worst to best discography or studio albums ranking. We've never reacted to a Fantano video before. I don't think we have, guys, right?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. So as you guys probably, if you're here on this music channel or have ever watched a music review video on YouTube, you've heard of Anthony Fantano, aka The Needle Drop. Very famous YouTube music reviewer, probably the most famous there is. He put together a Radiohead worst to best video, and we just finished our personal going through each Radiohead studio album ranking, and we put together our own worst to best, the list at the very end of that. You guys can go check that out. It was on our previous video. But we're going to react to his and see what we agree with, disagree with, and where he stands. And anything you guys want to comment on his video? You guys have already watched this. I have not. So...
I have not.
Oh, no, it hasn't. But Cole, you've already watched this.
Yeah.
You know Mr. Fantano pretty well. What should is he a Radiohead fan? Would you call him a Radiohead fan?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a Radiohead enjoyer.
A
for
Radiohead
sure.
enjoyer. All right, well, let's get into it. We're probably going to skip around a bit, just mainly get out of the
You
filler
gotta stream
content.
it.
Oh, yes, I do. Mainly getting out of the filler content and just showing off the actual rankings that he does for the album, what we agree with what he says and what we disagree with what he says. He's a little bit
What
of
a
a
thumbnail.
dramatic character. Yeah, what a what a start to
Hilly guy.
What a guy. All right, you guys ready?
Yep.
Mhm.
Let's do it.
Are you having a hard time breathing? I'm having a hard time breathing. It's here. It's real. Hi, everyone. It's Tomthany York Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for another installment of our Worst to Best series, Radiohead. Worst to best. In this video, I'm going to be going through Radiohead's discography, their studio album discography, just the studio albums,
Yes,
and ranking them from
that's
what
good.
I feel is the worst to the best. Without further ado, let's go.
Number
Okay.
9, the king.
All
of
right, we
Rings
can stop right
off
now.
the bat. Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Really?
Little surprising.
Really?
That's interesting.
Okay. I'd like to talk a little bit.
Okay, no,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Okay,
Do we,
so
wait,
on
wait,
my
do
list,
we want to let him explain why and then react to that?
Sure.
All right, let's
Sure.
let Fantano explain his reasoning and then we'll give ours. Yes or no?
Yes, for me, The King of Limbs is Radiohead's worst album. And sure, while it may not be as dated or as corny as some of their debuts' worst moments, it lands at this spot for a few reasons. One, the band's attempt at doing a full record where they try to blatantly fuse experimental rock and electronic music just fell flat on its face. The result was a bunch of unexciting, passionless performances that sound like they really should have been left to be forgotten on some Tom York solo effort. And two, in the grander scheme of Radiohead's discography, this album just seems so insignificant and so surprisingly short. The musical risk the band took on this record didn't really pan out. It's not a sound they ended up perfecting down the road. I mean, the closest they came to perfecting what they were doing on The King of Limbs was actually the live version of this album, which is infinitely superior.
We heard this a lot when we were ranking this album. The live
We
from the
did.
basement version of this was so many people told us that the King of Limbs live in the basement was way better. Almost every song was way better. So I guess I'll give credence to that this one was probably at a better live version than a studio. Haven't heard it though.
To the studio album itself. In the end, The King of Limbs to me just kind of seems like a weird detour they embarked on that they didn't really end up committing fully to, at least not enough to put out a complete, satisfying album. And considering what they were doing on their next record, it just doesn't seem like an essential part of the band's evolution. At least not as essential to their evolution as their debut, their starting point.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So we'll wait on Pablo Honey. Noah, you wanted to comment. That was Fantano's reason. What's yours?
that really just feels like trying to be different.
Hmm.
There is no way that Pablo Honey is better than King of Limbs. It is so incredibly just nothing unique about it. Every contemporary was superior. He was calling King of Limbs uninspired. Then what does that make Pablo Honey? And he says that King of Limbs was like essentially their least important album. In reality, that's probably Pablo Honey. Pablo Honey's he's only saying that because Pablo Honey was their debut. That shouldn't really dictate, where you place it on a list or anything like that. I feel like it's pretty obvious that Pablo Honey's their worst album, but you go, reviewer man.
Okay. I'll say this, and you know what? There's no reason to keep a tally here, but I was gonna say we could count in your heads the amount of times you agree or disagree with Fantano here. But I was gonna say right off the bat, obviously I had this at number 8 in my personal rankings. If you guys watched it at the end of the studio rankings, there is a strong consideration for this to be their worst, considering how much they had already made that was great before this, and how much experience and money production wise that they could have poured into this, especially given that the time they had taken from the previous album to make this. So I can understand, and totally I'm hearing out his argument for why this is it, but the actual quality of the music is just lower on Pablo Honey. It's just straight up lower. I mean, you can talk about, they had way more time and money and production and talent. They've experienced all these other things throughout. Sure, but the music still is worse on Pablo Honey. It just is. Cole, did you have any counter argument to Fantano, or do you agree with him?
No, I put Pablo Honey at 9. I think it's a decent amount worse than the King of Limbs. There's nothing about Pablo Honey that I really like. There's no song on Pablo Honey that I would even give like higher than a 6 probably. I don't remember what I gave every song, but I actively dislike that album a great deal. The King of Limbs is mostly just boring to me, so I do agree with like all of his criticisms towards the King of Limbs, but I do feel like how dated and generic and bland Pablo Honey is and how bad the lyrics are do trump the fact that the King of Limbs is, really uncreative and, all the criticism that he had for it. I do think that it trumps that.
All right.
Obviously, he disagrees, but
All right, 3
whatever.
disagrees to start. Let's see
It's
what
not
he's
the
got
end of the
for-
world.
We already saw what he got at number 8. Pablo
Evolution,
Honey.
at least not as essential to their evolution as their debut, their starting point.
So essentially,
Honey.
we have just flipped our 9 and 8 from him.
Yeah.
It's consistently ranked as
The only thing I want to hear is why he has this above King of Limbs, really.
Radiohead's
You might,
worst
if you stop
record
pausing it.
among fans, and it's not hard to see why. It may have been a perfectly acceptable alternative rock album in the 90s when it was released, but it has not aged all that well over the years. Even the album's biggest track, Creep, has become a joke among Radiohead fans, among the hardcore fans, as being the entry-level Radiohead. That's the Radiohead song everyone knows, that anyone can enjoy. Yes, only Radiohead fans would create a massive running joke about the band's music being too accessible. And that's a lot of the reason why I think Pablo Honey gets so much unjust hate, because Radiohead fans are too busy glorifying Kid A and OK Computer as some kind of like gold standard of music, like they're the most experimental, groundbreaking albums of all time, and something like Pablo Honey, oh, that's just pedestrian. When in reality, the biggest sin that Pablo Honey commits is that it just had a lot in common with its contemporaries. Sure, the album is a little generic, but Ripcord and How Do You Do and Anyone Can Play the Guitar are perfectly fine alternative rock songs. In my opinion, it's not their worst record. It's perfectly respectable as a 90s rock album and as a formative moment in the band's career.
Okay. Oh, wow. All right. I keep hating how he automatically puts up. I wanted to respond directly to this because there was something I heavily disagreed and heavily agree with. I heavily disagree when he was talking about like, oh, when he's being very, and this one problem I have with Fantano, he's a very, to fan bases, he's extremely, I guess, judgmental of how the fan bases treat albums, especially ones they dislike or like really hard. Like he was trashing fans of Radiohead for saying OK Computer and Kid A are just so great and out experimental and blah blah blah. And I would say
he's not wrong.
I would say that fans showing up love for some of the favorite albums, and I don't want to talk about this the whole time, but fans showing up love for some of their favorite albums versus some of the worst albums is just showing that you have gone through their discography enough to know what's really good.
That's not what he said. That's not what he said.
Sort of what he said, essentially.
It's not what he said. He was making fun of them for calling OK Computer and Kid A like super out there and wildly experimental when they're not particularly all that experimental.
I said this
one, that they're trying to make.
I don't want to argue about the future albums like we did previously because we already went through them, but I said it multiple times. They are far more experimental than you give them credit for. But the one thing I heavily disagree or heavily agree with him is Pablo Honey gets a lot of trash from hardcore Radiohead fans. It gets called generic, it gets called boring, it gets called too easily accessible by the general populace. It gets said, they say, well, when you get to the better albums, it sounds nothing like this. Like, yeah, no shit. They changed their sound. So did some of the greatest bands of all time. Everyone can do it. It's not like you have a Creep, which is one of the most popular songs of all time, and the band openly trashing it, I think is like personally really stupid that you got a large majority of your fan base coming from one album and then you just trash that album every chance you get because you're like, well, this album was generic and boring. It's like, you made the damn thing. Okay? You're allowed to have your opinion, but your fans are allowed to have their opinion too, especially ones who do like that album. So calling it bad because you think it doesn't sound like what your future stuff is going to sound like, it's pretentious as fuck.
Well, I think they look back on it negatively because of how poorly it aged.
Yeah, it's aged like
I agree.
milk.
It aged
That
poorly.
album sounds like crap now.
But it's overhated. It's certainly overhated. Even though I put it at the lowest. Even though I put it at the lowest. The lowest
Properly
I gave it was
disliked.
I think it's pretty accurately disliked.
I think I gave it like a 6 at the lowest. Or 5.
I think I gave Pablo Honey a 3, which it deserves. That album is cringy.
All right. Well, again, we don't want to spend a year and a half talking about Pablo Honey. On to the next one. Number 7, he has Amnesiac.
Such an overrated album. Don't get me wrong. There's some perfectly fine songs and some amazing ideas on Amnesiac. But this album is essentially a glorified set of Kid A afterbirths. And while it's well known that the material here was recorded in the same session as the material on Kid A, don't let that trick you into thinking it's just as good, especially when you have blatantly unfinished and repetitive tracks
No.
all over the
No.
track.
Yes.
No.
The song
Yes.
Hunting
Yes.
Doors is just a guitar
Absolutely.
detour. The song
Yes, it is.
Pull Revolving Doors is just like a
It's actually kinda
mind-numbing
cool.
electronic interlude that doesn't
It's
reinforce
actually kind of a cool song.
much of anything the album has
It's actually one of
before or
the best
after it.
songs on
You
that
and
album.
Whose Army sounds
No.
like some
You
kind
didn't
of
even
demo
like it.
ballad that Tom strung together that just had like a big
stop.
climactic string section tacked onto the end of it to make it sound finished. And even one of my favorite tracks on here, Morning Bell, starts like I've been teleported into a track that has already been playing for 2 minutes. This album constantly gets built up for being
That's a
more
weird
abstract
criticism.
than Kid A,
That's funny.
but only in the sense that the songs are dodgier and more obscure. In my opinion, if we're to go on the sound and the music of this album in comparison with Kid A, what happens on Amnesiac is way less adventurous, with the exception of the kind of jazzy finish the band tries to pull off at the end. I do like Life in a Glass House, though, and some of the band's best material is on this thing. Knives
such
Out
a
is
fucking
chillingly
weird-
beautiful. The groovy Desert Rock on I Might Be Wrong is actually pretty fantastic. And Pyramid Song, while that track is pretty redundant and does feel like an extended motif like many other tracks on here, the track is just too emotionally potent and it has too great a chord progression to just deny it. I'm
All right, I don't know when he's gonna get to his next one. Okay.
not denying that there are beautiful and haunting moments on this record. I'm not. It's just that despite the fact that it runs at about the same length many other Radiohead albums do, it's one of the band's most rickety releases.
Okay. So
That's true.
let's just say one thing he got entirely wrong, in my opinion. This is not just throwaway songs. Okay, it's not just
At least half of
you
it is
called
just
it-
unfinished stuff from Kid A.
you both called this Kid A side B that should have probably stayed down, and it's wrong. It should while it may have been recorded during Kid A sessions, it was recorded over the length of over a year, and that is a very long time for them to get things better. Are some of them unfinished? Absolutely, but the majority of this album is finished. Sounds a lot like Kid A, has emotional depth like Kid A does, and uses a lot of the same things like Kid A with a couple little more jazziness, like he mentioned. I think this has it's a very fulfilling album that just doesn't reach the potential that Kid A did.
But there's so many songs on it that just feel completely underwritten, though. And I agree,
Not
it does
so many.
sound. There's several. There's probably like 5 or 6 songs that are just not even finished. And yeah, I agree that a lot of it does sound like Kid A, and because it's kind of where they were. But like Kid A songs that are not fully realized.
Noah, did you have
Which
a point
was-
you wanted to make?
My critique
Oh,
when we
yeah.
listened to the album.
Though I fully agree with where he put it, and I agree. I agree that. This is probably their most inconsistent album since Pablo Honey. It does have songs that feel incredibly unfinished or unneeded, with like Hunting Bears.
Yeah, Hunting
Did we
Bears
need that?
was- No, we did not.
Thank
There
you.
are some songs that didn't need to be on this. I agree.
I don't agree with him really going in on songs like You and Whose Army and a little bit on Pyramid Song, but overall he got the point across and he put it in the proper place. So good for you.
The problem I have here is that he has not mentioned "Hail to the Thief" in the first 3, and that album is one of the 3 worst Radiohead albums by far. So this is too low. This album
I
is
don't know
too
about
low.
that.
This should be a top probably 5. I would say. I think that's where I put it, like number 5, I believe. All right, see what he's got next.
And it's clear that the band just kind of feels Upside's collection to me.
We have the bins at 6.
So true.
Bands.
God, I'm probably
I have a
the
bit of a
lower.
love-hate relationship with this album. I appreciate it and respect it as a significant moment of progression and evolution in the Radiohead discography. It's certainly a more unique listen than Pablo Honey. It is one of Radiohead's most consistent and solid, well-built records. I think the band
Consistent?
successful blends alternative rock
Yeah,
with art
it is.
rock on this album.
No
Also,
art
in
rock
comparison
on
with
it. I
Pablo
don't
Honey,
get that at all.
Tom York is a
A
much
little
more
bit.
captivating frontman. The mix is fuller, the
not
mix
yet.
is richer, the band just sounds heavier and more powerful.
What?
But I just don't see the bends as interesting as what the band would be doing down the road. A lot like Pablo
true.
Honey, the more years that go by, the less significant the album seems to my ears.
God,
Because
yes!
this album, even though it is
Yes!
more cutting edge than Radiohead's debut, it's still packed with so many alt-rockisms that
Yes.
are growing
Rockisms.
staler and staler and staler. Case in
Absolutely.
point, the title track. There are
Absolutely.
at least a handful of songs on here where it just sounds like Radiohead is coming through with like this real sense of swagger. Like what they're doing on this album is just so ahead of the curve and so deep, and I just don't feel like that's the case. In a way, I do prefer Amnesiac's haunting ambience. I do prefer Pablo Honey's rawness, how unassuming that album is in comparison with the Bends, but I do think the Bends is a more significant point in the band's career.
Okay. All right. I think we got his point. Noah, you seem
Absolute
to be the one
fire.
to
Just
disagree.
spitting
You
facts.
seem to be the one to disagree the most.
How is this better than how is this worse than Hail to the Thief?
Oh, it's significantly weaker than
Hail to the Thief. God, that album's
this is better
so
than Hail to the Thief.
that album's so inconsistent.
Nope, I would way rather listen to Hail to the Thief than the Bends.
I would not, because there's such good songs like Fake Plastic Trees, High and Dry, Street Spirit. There's so many good songs on it. This is them doing alt rock and it actually aging well and being a really good album.
Lauren,
Though,
it is not aging well.
I only have it one spot higher at 5, but there's no reason it should be below Hail to the Thief.
Well, I have a question. He mentioned art rock. I wonder if he meant alt rock when he said art rock, because there's no art rock on this album, so I don't know what he was talking about with that.
I wouldn't consider any of the Bends to be art rock
at all.
I barely even consider them to be much art rock on OK Computer.
What I was gonna say, the main criticism I have is they're still trying to find their sound on this album. That's why it didn't come across as finished, or not finished, but didn't come across as where there's still a lot of issues. He mentioned Tom York's vocals and him becoming that lead frontman. I don't think he's there yet on this album at all. I think he's got a little bit of progress. OK Computer is when he really takes that step and becomes that lead frontman guy. This, he's still working on it. It's not there yet, and I mentioned that when we did the Benz review, is that it doesn't fit. He's not that guy yet. The band as a whole is not that band yet. I mean, they just haven't found the sound that they're gonna become famous for. Even though Creep was huge and Pablo Honey was a big album because of Creep, this is not the sound they will become critically famous for yet. And it has really elements, but it's not there yet, and it's got a long ways to go from here. But OK Computer is the next leap up. But yeah, no, I disagree with this. This is too high for him. He has this at 6, I believe. I think I had this at 7. Yeah, 7.
God, that's awful.
I think it's pretty. I mean, I this is either like the third. This is probably the third weakest Radiohead album to me.
Yeah.
I damn near agree with every word he just said. I mean, I don't think this album is anywhere near as good.
6. You have it at 7.
Yes, I know,
Okay.
but that wasn't a word that he said about it.
Fair enough.
I would put Amnesiac over it because Amnesiac is better.
All right, let me just check chat real quick. I'm not going to put up a poll, just getting a pulse check here from chat. Who here has agreed with something? Say yes if you've agreed with anything Fantano said. Say no if you just completely disagree with him so far. All right, let's see. Number 5.
More important.
Hail to the
A lot
Thief.
of fans and music writers label
I knew he was gonna
Radiohead
do
as
that.
the band that
Way
defined
too
the
high.
2000s. And if that is the case, Hail to the Thief was probably their least definitive moment of that decade. And not that I think it's a terrible album. Some of my favorite Radiohead songs are on this album. 2 + 2 = 5 is one of the best introductions to any Radiohead album, period. The explosive second half of this track is amazing, and it's just interesting to see the band kind of evolve past the eeriness and just the abstraction of Kid A and Amnesiac and head in a direction that's more aggressive and groovier, more physical. And the ballad on the song A Wolf at the Door is probably one of the most heart-wrenching moments in the band's entire career. The issue with this album is, as many people in the past have stated, is that it's just kind of inconsistent and a little bloated, while the very cold and calculated Backdrifts is a better attempt at just trying to make electronic music than many moments on The King of Limbs. The track doesn't really do anything to support or reinforce the songs that surround it. And the weird, densely packed rhythms and vocals and synths on the back end of Sit Down, Stand Up stands as one of the most questionable production choices of any song in the band's career. Or most genius, depends on how I'm feeling that day. I think there are a lot of great sounds and
That's
ideas
so pretentious.
on Hail to the
That's
Thief.
you.
It's just that
No,
the band
it's
doesn't really
not.
perfect
That
them
is.
Say it all the time.
refine them here. They just kind of end up doing that later in their discography on records like A Moon-Shaped Pool and In Rainbows. I could pull a lot of tracks out of this album individually and say, great track, amazing track, fantastic track, but there's just very little rhyme or reason to it as an album, and Radiohead's usually pretty good at coming through with a well-groomed, well-conceived, well-flowing album.
Okay, I think we get his point. It's very inconsistent. It's very bloated. He mentioned those things. I'll say his description of the album is fairly accurate. I would agree with most things he said about it. Inconsistent, bloated, didn't have a whole lot of... you can pick and choose different songs that are good, but most part it doesn't really can stay like that. I'll give him credit for that. I think he nails the description of this. His ranking is terrible though. I don't know how you can say that this album is is better than the previous few he just put up at number 5 when you can essentially just pick apart this album entirely, and like every single like 5, 6, 7 different songs are worse than the majority of what's already passed. How is that better when the last few albums were more consistent than this one? I don't get that.
They're
I
not
guess
that consistent.
overall, I'll disagree with his ranking. I'll agree with his description though. Cole, Noah, you have anything to add?
Yeah. For the most part, I agree with everything he said. I think the placement's wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, Hail to the Thief is maybe like my second least favorite Radiohead album to listen to front to back, just based off of the lack of cohesion. And I feel like that alone should put the Benz over the top of it.
Okay. Cole, you're shaking your head.
More
Hail
consistent.
to the Thief has way better songwriting than the Benz does. Better
Debatable.
lyrics.
Debatable.
It's a way more compelling album.
It does have better
Nope.
lyrics.
Oh, the Benz is more
Not-
compelling.
no, the Ben's probably slightly more compelling. I mean, this is like 8, 9 or 8, 7 for me, I think.
I think 5 is probably right for Hail to the Thief.
Actually,
That's
6 is
way
right.
too high. Okay,
No.
all right. We'll
He's
continue.
better
on.
than everything he's listed
While
so
it is
far.
more cutting edge, I think there.
Wow. Okay, first one I've actually entirely agreed with the placement of. A Moon-Shaped Pool 4.
Yeah, A Moon-Shaped Pool. It's super new. It's super new.
It's not.
But the more I listen to this thing,
This is not
the more
recorded
it
recently,
feels like
Ryan.
a really significant part in Radiohead's discography. The more it feels like one of the band's most cohesive and conceptual albums. And while sure, it's their most low-key record, it's their most subtle record, don't let that distract you from the fact that it is one of their most beautiful albums too. One of their
That's
most
true.
fully realized albums. One of their most elegant albums. I think Radiohead
Elegant's a
stirs some
strong
great
word.
emotional power on this album. It's just that power is just so quietly displayed. It's not painfully obvious. But I love the way that this album just serves up all of these sad, spacey, transcendent tunes. I think also on this album, Tom flexes his muscles as a more lyrically direct
that's what it's
songwriter,
called.
whether it be on the
Oh,
closing
I didn't
track
know
where he's
that.
kind of lamenting the loss of a really important romantic relationship, or on the song Burn the Witch, where the band is really kind of taking a direct shot at the modern state of socio-political discourse, just kind of fallen into the trash. Also, I just cannot get over the
I still think
creepy
that's about his
alien
ex-wife.
story going on
It's
the track.
not.
I'm gonna go to the point. I'm going. That's where I'm.
It's not. He's not that vindictive.
Could have never mentioned that shit to him.
Uniform eeriness and again kind of a very vast atmosphere to this entire album, but there's actually a lot of musical variety to this record. There are moments that take on more of a folk rock flavor. The track Full Stop, one of my favorite Radiohead songs period, has a bit of a
Great
kraut
song.
rock vibe to it. The tension they
Kraut
build on this
rock.
track is amazing.
Kraut.
Not only is this album a great
weirder.
listen throughout, but also a fantastic return to form considering the record that preceded it.
Okay, I get his points. I don't want to see the next one before we get there. Yeah, I for the most part, I completely agree with the ranking. Very recency bias because we literally just did this one yesterday. And I only heard it one time, and I gave it a 9 off first listen. I almost put it in my top 3 when we did it, but I think keeping it outside of the ones that I've already heard a ton more and still rank really high is probably smart. I agree with most part of everything he said. It's a very emotional, very powerful record. Problem is, I think it does have inconsistencies as well. Like a little bit, a small amount of inconsistency there with like some of them are like 9s, 8.5s, 9.5s, and then we got a couple dips like to a 7, 6.5, a couple different times. And the band probably had a little bit too much bloat in it as well. I don't know.
No.
Nope. Okay. No, it just disagrees off the bat.
Yeah, I do disagree. This is at number 3 for me.
Okay.
I guess it might just come down to preference, but I enjoy it and think this is a better album than OK Computer.
No.
In my opinion, it's more consistent.
Ridiculous.
It's more beautiful. It's more well written.
Being more beautiful
And
does not make you a better record.
That's just an aspect of it.
Okay.
I think it's more well written. I like the lyrics on it a lot more too. It does more for me.
Maybe.
The songs on OK Computer feel more fully realized.
Disagreed.
All right.
I think they're equally realized.
No,
I just like the actual songs on
And-
DJ Pool more.
There's way more highs on OK Computer than
Yes.
Moonshaped Pool.
I was gonna just get to that.
It has much
100%.
higher peaks.
I gave one song on
No, it doesn't.
Moonshaped Pool a 10, and I'm not sure I would. If I listened to it again, I'm not sure I would, but I did give it on first listen. But OK Computer is like 3 10s, so
Okay, settle down.
You're wrong on both accounts. There's no 10 out of 10 songs on a Moonshaped Pool,
Yeah,
and there's
is.
one on OK Computer.
all right,
Yeah,
let's
there's
keep going.
1 or 2.
Can't spend every day on Moonshaped Pool. Let's see what he's got at number 3.
This album is a continued Kid A, one of my favorite
Kid
records in their
A!
discography.
Wow, I agree.
I don't.
Back to
Kid
back.
A, the legendary Kid A, Radiohead's
Wow.
official,
I'm surprised to
bold,
see that.
line in the sand transition from making some alt rock and some art rock to just going experimental rock, working in some
don't really
crazy
think it's
electronics
experimental
too,
rock.
basing their songs on more abstract
Outside of maybe
structures,
one
and beginning
song.
to incorporate in their music a chilling ambience that would remain with them for pretty much their entire career afterwards. Few bands undergo such an overhaul in their sound and come out on the other end this successful. And even though I have long said that Radiohead is not one of the most experimental, adventurous bands on the planet, the very obtuse songs that they present here on Kid A, they're not for the impatient, because this thing is
That's true.
dystopian, it's dark, it's... The song National Anthem is probably the easiest on the ears Radiohead gets on this record, but even that track is
Optimistic
loaded
is
with
the
tinny,
most.
strange vocal effects and a horn freak out at the end. The song Optimistic probably contains
good.
one of my favorite vocal performances
Yes.
from Tom. I also love the very surreal and kind of psychedelic In Limbo. The IDM influence
Hell
on
yeah.
the track Idiotech is awesome
Idiotech
and so
is so
incredibly
good.
icy. And the song Motion Picture Soundtrack is very lullaby-esque and
It's cool.
with its
Overrated,
kind
but
of a
cool.
That's
very
probably the easiest on the
relaxing
ears.
pump organ
Probably.
chords and harp runs. It's easily one of my favorite finishes of any Radiohead album. If anything holds the album back in the grander scheme of Radiohead's
One of his
discography,
worst
I don't
takes right
think
here.
it has the best flow from track to track of any
Absolute
Radiohead
malarkey.
album. The ambient interlude
Crackhead
Tree
stuff.
Finger still kind of stands out
That's
to me
false
as,
statement.
you know,
It
just a
definitely
really
was.
odd detour on the record
It's
that doesn't
beautiful.
necessarily logically flow from the preceding track. And even the songs on here that do complement each other seem kind of isolated and compartmentalized, maybe in a
My
way that's
computer is
kind of an
spazzing.
artistic comment on how in a vacuum the album itself feels. But regardless, I do think it does harm the album, even if just a little bit. For sure, I could see why this album would be the favorite among many Radiohead fans. It's just not the case for me, though.
All right, Cole.
I feel like it's their one of, if not their most cohesive album that they've ever made. I don't understand that at all. All the songs feel so connected to me. It stays within its sound so much more than I think all of their albums outside of maybe OK Computer. I don't. It to me, it's the most consistent Radiohead album easily. Um, and it's my favorite one to just listen to. Although I feel like it has like the best flow. I don't understand where he's getting these takes.
So the one thing I was gonna give Kid A was the only thing I put Kid A above OK Computer on is the fact that it flows better than any Radiohead album they made. I mean, you can just listen start to finish and it feels like almost one song. I mean, the flow through is crazy. So he's wrong about that. Right about the placement, just because I guess this is where it gets a little bit subjective here. Is if you like the darkness, if you like the atmosphere Kid A creates, the gloominess, the long jet, like you gotta like fight through 3 minutes of a song to get these incredible endings, which Cole loves. We know he loves long songs that take a while to build up that pressure. If you love that, you're probably gonna put this album at number one. If you want something a bit more interesting,
long songs.
Well, it's not long, but he was right when he says like these songs are not for people who are impatient. He's right. There's build up processes to on these songs. So
The only other thing
right about that.
The only other thing I'll disagree with him about is I really don't consider this to be all that experimental of an album. Outside of you can maybe argue that there's 2 experimental songs on this album, but that's 2 out of 10. I mean, doesn't make this whole album experimental rock. I think this is like pretty straightforward ambient and art rock. I don't really understand, like, people have this huge criticism of Kid A where it's like, oh, it's not nearly as experimental as people think it is. It's not, it's not that. I'm like, is it trying to be? I've never gotten that it's trying to be crazy experimental. I just feel like it's art rock and ambient rock done incredibly well.
So much different than most of their discography, though.
That does not make it experimental.
Noah, did you have any other points you wanted to make?
Yeah, I disagree with him talking with the cohesion. It is the most cohesive Radiohead album. I will give it that. Also, not big on the tree finger slander going on.
Yeah, that song is beautiful. I love that song. That song is gorgeous.
He's just wrong about that.
I feel like the album can only be considered experimental if you're looking at it through being experimental for a rock band. Because I feel like in the grand scheme of music in general, this is not experimental at all.
I feel like it's a masterpiece based on his own merit, regardless of whether or not it's experimental.
Yeah,
like, it doesn't need to be experimental for it to get the acclaim that it's gotten. I don't think it is experimental.
Okay.
Outside of maybe the title track.
We have argued about the experimental part of Kid A lot, so we don't need to continue about that. But I was going to say, no, finish your last point.
And the placement is wrong. This is number 2.
No, he got the placement right. Although
it's actually number 1.
I'll have to go back and forth on this because I put this at 2 for the majority of the time until I heard In Rainbows again. Then I put Rainbows above it, so we'll see. I did see Cosmic. You asked a question about why we're reviewing Fantano, what Fantano deserved, how Fantano deserved to get his big bass, or what makes him a music critiquer. I guess
he listens to more music than fucking anyone.
I think the answer is probably he just knows a lot of music and he's listened to a lot of it.
Yeah,
that's
years of doing this.
I think people. I mean, this is the case for me. I don't want to speak for other people, but it would be my running theory as to why he gets the attention he does. Is because people want to get into music, and when you want to get into anything, you go somewhere where people know a lot about that stuff, and YouTube is a massive platform. And if you want to get into music and you go on YouTube, this guy knows more fucking music on YouTube than almost anybody. So he's kind of
I think it probably
the library.
When you have you don't just stick to one genre or one type. He does, from what I've seen, all genres, all types, and he'll even do big brand new albums. Sometimes he'll do tiny albums. It's like he'll go all over the place. So I think people respect the choices of it. Although I do disagree with a lot of what he says sometimes. All right, let's see what he's got at number 2. In Rainbows.
I knew he was gonna do it. Okay. I fucking knew it.
Mm-hmm. We're here. In Rainbows. This album is probably not landing this high on most lists of this kind, but Honestly,
probably
truly, this album is
now it
and
is.
continues to be a personal favorite of mine in Radiohead's discography. In Rainbows is a lot of things for me. It's Radiohead's most visceral, exciting, consistently explosive album. It's an album where Radiohead, 10 years after releasing easily their biggest record, are proving that they still very much got it. A lot of the ideas on this album might sound pretty similar to some of the tracks on Hail to the Thief, but it's my opinion that Radiohead went on to perfect those sounds on this record, because there are tons of moments on this record where the band is using these grooves, using this energy to reach these just bubbling points, these boiling points, these orgasmic peaks of sonic bliss.
Wow, somebody else
Jigsaw
using that,
falling into
not just
place,
me.
for example. And also, this record has an amazing flow from the kind of scattered.
See,
and
that's
Does
a big
it?
disagreeing point. I don't
It
agree with
is.
that at all.
It is
beats
a
at the
loose
very
collection
start
of
the
great
song 15
songs.
Step to the dreary pianos on videotape. This is a watertight 10 tracks without a single lull.
Almost.
There's so many exciting
Yeah,
highs,
no lulls,
I
agree.
passionate
Almost.
emotional lows on this album. The track Body Snatchers, Radiohead has not sounded this raw since Pablo Honey. And the song Nude is probably in
Overloved.
my top 5 of Radiohead songs ever.
That's such
This
a great
track is
idea.
just
No, it's not. It's
just
properly graded.
gorgeous, beautiful, tear, inducing, alien soul. Tom York's vocal performance here is one of his oddest, but also one of his most beautiful. What's even more amazing is that the band had been sitting on this song for such a long time. It only took this album for them to end up recording it and releasing it. The song Reckoner sounds like the band
That's
trying to write
the best song on this
a
album.
trip-hop ballad from the ground
remember
up.
correctly.
Tom's nasal croons are heart-wrenchingly sad. And even one of the
That's
tiniest
what we
moments on this
credit.
record, Faust Arp, seems to
Awful.
just have a...
I mean, not
incredible amount
awful,
of
but
Shut the fuck
certainly-
up.
Such an overrated song.
You
Alright.
You
I
just
love the
don't think
fingerpick
before you
guitars
talk sometimes.
on this track.
Awful. Shut
awful
up.
is wrong, but awful take
Boring.
he's about to give here.
Vocals.
You-
With these two things,
unnecessary.
Radiohead manages to
Good
strike
take.
a great balance between being kind of folky, intimate, beautiful, and creepy. And for me, it's
Good
still
take.
so hard to listen to this record and think about it being 10 years old at this point, because it still sounds to me so crisp and exotic and colorful and exciting. And that's why it's landing so high on this list.
Great. I'll just say the biggest thing I disagree with that he said 100% is it does not flow like the best flow on. No, that is just wrong. He had the opposite criticism on Kid A. I think Kid A flows far better than In Rainbows does. I think there's songs like Faust Arp and other ones that just
Stop.
do not lend to the same credence level. Like he was talking about, like the flow between I don't even remember the song names, but one's dreary and then one's more groovy. That's not flowing. That's the opposite of flowing. But then again,
flows.
I do agree with the placement though.
It flows well. It actually flows their second best.
No. Even though I do agree that it is their second best album, I disagree with Lydia's. I would flip 1 and 3. But I mean, I love this album. I think it's a masterpiece, but it is sonically all over the place, and it doesn't. It just doesn't feel anywhere near as cohesive as like what I think, as like OK Computer or Kid A do. Even though I think it's better than OK Computer because the songs are just way more memorable.
It is. Can I please say something?
Go ahead.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry. I need to get this thought off my head. So this Faust Arpade feels so incredibly
hate
pretentious.
it.
It feels
hate
so
it.
disgustingly pretentious because people call it unfinished just because it's a lot more intimate and there's less things going on. So people instantly just shove it away. It's a great song. The hate on that song is so...
You are overrating the shit out of that
No,
song.
you called it bad. You're delirious. Be quiet.
Calling it bad was like just a
I
hyperbole.
just-
It's not bad. It's just nowhere. I mean, some people say like that song is like one of the best on the album. And that's insanity.
Nobody said
it's
that.
insane. I saw someone say it earlier. It's insanity. Like people,
It's a good song.
it's overrated as fuck by In Rainbows.
It's
fans.
actually overhated.
no.
The only thing else I'll say about Faust Arp is every time I listen to the whole album, it feels like it comes to a screeching halt in terms of quality, and it feels like it's so much weaker than all the other songs on the album, like significantly weaker.
100%.
Every time it comes on, I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna skip this. I'm bored, and I don't really care.
All right, we gotta move on. Let's finish out this video.
The top.
All right, let's get his bad opinion out of the way.
Number 1 for Fantano. Okay, computer.
What option
Agreed.
left?
Yeah, sure. This
no, it has shitter happier on
one
it.
pick for a lot of other lists, but I do truly feel that speaking purely from the experience of an album experience,
Number 1 has shitter happier.
OK Computer is the closest Radiohead has come to perfection. I do think the album is a little overhyped in the grander scheme of things. I don't think it's one of the greatest pieces of music ever conceived by man, but I do think it's the greatest album in the band's discography, and certainly a crowning achievement for rock music in the 90s, because this album is such an interesting sound for rock music at this time. It's not super raw or punky or grungy like a lot of the albums were being released in this decade. Instead, it's really pristine, it's clean, it's vivid, it's almost a futuristic take on rock music. And in a way, it actually was. I think to a degree, this album was the most predictive album in Radiohead's discography, as it would go on to influence the Muses and the Coldplays and the Killers of the world, which maybe not everybody's happy about. But I think that's a small price to pay for such a fantastic record. But it's kind of that pristine, immaculate, almost spotless sound of this album that I think is part of what makes it sound so timeless, because there's not really anything about it that kind of hooks it into, hey, here's this weird, dumb, gimmicky trend that everybody was doing at this time. In that sense, it kind of reminds me of an album like Pink Floyd's The Wall. It's just fundamentals, that what this album is doing is most likely never going to go out of style. The production on this thing, it's so great. It's so rich. It's so detailed. There's such good instrumental balance on these songs. The groovy riffs on Paranoid Android sound fantastic. The distortion is so burning, it's so fiery. And the blissful, jangly let down sounds like the band inadvertently wrote the instrumental blueprint for almost half of the post-rock songs to be released in the 2000s. The rest of the record brings an amazing range of interesting emotions and sounds and lyrical concepts. There are tracks on here where Thom Yorke is exploring what seems to be this strong sense of loneliness and isolation, these feelings of being alien. Karma Police remains to be one of Radiohead's most catchy tracks, but also hilariously sinister tracks too when you read into the lyrics. And while this record is not as consistently visceral or as explosive as some other tracks in the band's discography, they definitely build tension. They definitely take their time. There are a lot of subtle, sad, dreary moments on this record. But when the band finally hits you with a payoff, it fucking pays off. Albums like this are the reason that people describe music as having an orgasm-like quality to it. Like at the very end of the song, Exit Music, and No Surprises still stands, in my opinion, as one of the most fantastically beautiful songs in Radiohead's entire discography. I love the lullaby quality guitar lead and the pretty little glockenspiel. I mean, the track is really a combination of what sounds like someone kind of gently trying to put you to sleep, but also a little bit of Velvet Underground and maybe a touch of musical theater too. And going off from the musical theater,
things I don't like.
This album's really dramatic.
Okay, I think we get its point. Yeah, so first of all, I obviously had OK Computer as their number 1. I was the only one here who did. I agree with pretty much everything he said, especially about the songs. I think that the peaks of this, and I gave 3 10s on this album. The peaks of this, and then the overall consistency throughout. While it may have some dips, like a couple dips in there, the peaks overweigh the dips compared to every other album Radiohead put out. And because of that, I go back to OK Computer more than any other Radiohead album. By far. The singles, the songs. I will go and listen to OK Computer before I listen to In Rainbows, Kid A. I mean, I'd only heard of Moonshaped Pool yesterday, and I'll probably listen to it again soon. But I go back to this album because the peaks are so much funner to listen to, or just interesting to listen to, that I have to give credit where credit is due. I mean, I agree with what he said. It's probably their best work in terms of how much music enjoyment you get out of it.
Okay. He first off, he overglazed the shit out of this one. And he didn't bring up a couple tracks I'd love to bring up right now.
Go ahead.
First off, Fitter Happier.
Shocking.
Right there. Takes out, honestly, could take it out of the conversation.
No.
Airbag, that song's pretty overrated.
Airbag's great.
Actually, no, it's okay. Electioneering, no
Great.
thank you.
Overhated. The Faust
Lucky.
art of OK Computer.
The
Okay,
Faust art
don't
of
even
OK
compare.
Computer would be Fitter Happier.
Yeah, except Faust Harp's actually musical. Lucky. You probably couldn't even
song.
remember that song. No,
Like I said,
go. Tell me something about Lucky.
There are dips in this album, and I admitted that, but the peaks overweigh the dips.
Yeah, it's a good album. I'm not saying it's not a good album. I'm just saying it's not the best.
Way outweigh the dips, like extremely outweigh it.
Yeah, it's a good album.
No, it's
Not
a
their
great
best
album.
Yeah, it's a great album.
But they don't have
Sure.
a perfect album. So this is as good as it
Yeah.
gets.
Actually, no,
I
it's
would argue
not.
Kid A is perfect.
No.
Kid A and Rainbows are much closer to perfect than this is.
No, they're not.
Yep. Yes,
Yep.
they are.
No, they are not. All right. Well, anyway,
Yes, they
we're
are.
supposed to be talking about his reaction, so keep it to that.
I mean, the criticism of OK Computer that I've always had, and why it always lands at probably around number 3 for me, and that he doesn't really bring up here at all, is I just don't think Tom York is anywhere near as good vocally as he would become on Kid A or in Rainbows. I think there's a lot of moments where his vocals on OK Computer genuinely kind of irritate me, like on the song Airbag, or like 30 seconds of the song Paranoid Android. Even though that's an amazing song, there's still vocal moments that I think he's kind of not great in. And Fitter Happier is an utter waste of time, and I don't really think they do a great job with the style of music that they're trying to do on Electioneering.
Well, I'll say this about his rankings. I think I agree with the top 3, and then everything else outside of that. No, he had the top 4 because he had Moonshaped Pool at 4, I believe. So I'll give him the top 4. Outside of that,
You
completely
just
disagree.
Yep,
Just
you agreed the most.
You ever disagree with this guy?
Oh my
Honestly.
gosh. All right. Well, anyway,
Little butt buddies.
that was our Anthony Fantano Radiohead worst to best discography reaction. For the most part, I think you two disagreed with him almost entirely.
Yep.
Is there anything you guys agreed about?
I think he had a lot. I mean,
Amnesiac?
his reasons for why, like his critiques and compliments for the albums, I agree with for the most part. But he had a pretty good bottom half of the list.
Yeah.
Like I don't think there was anything that was like more than a spot or 2 away from where I would put it.
Amnesiac.
It was okay.
Or, sorry, no.
I mean,
Hail to the Thief was way too high.
Hail to the Thief was accurate, actually.
No.
No.
Yeah, it's their 5th best album.
All right. So you guys. So was there anything that you vehemently? Was there anything you agreed with?
He went 1 for 9. He
9.
got Amnesiac right. I disagree with his placements. Like Cole said,
I agree.
he speaks a lot of truth in the critiques and dislikes of the albums. I just cannot stand where he puts them.
Fair enough. I went 4 for 9 with him. I don't think I had. I think. Yeah.
Besties.
Shut up. I don't think we
Yep,
agreed on the
shocker.
first half. The second half, I far more agree with on it, but that is what it is. All right, well, that's our Anthony Fantano Radiohead worst to best reaction. I hope you guys did enjoy. Let us know in the comments down below. Do you enjoy these types of videos? We're gonna do one more when we finish the Pink Floyd discography or the studio albums, except for Endless River. We're gonna do one more of this. He has done a Pink Floyd worst to best recently, and we're going to react to that as well. And if you guys did enjoy, leave a like down below and hit subscribe.
We're never Metallica, Mom. I have to watch this video.
Well, we gotta do Metallica first.
I know, just saying.
Yes, if you enjoy these, let us know in the comments down below if you want us to see us do more reactions to Mr. Fantano or other music reviewers that you guys might link. Let us know. And hit subscribe, hit the bell to get notified when we go live. We did this one live, and we'll keep doing them live. Thank you guys so much for watching. Join our Discord, join our YouTube. All links in the description below, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Okie dokie, chat. Let's see.
Yeah, that took an hour.
That's
Goddamn.
fine. That's fine. I didn't think it was gonna be.
This could be a long ass stream.
That's okay. It's all good. Not late in the day. Chat for the most part, 2 out of 9. I think I saw somebody say 1 out of 9, 1 out of 9, 2 out of 9. Okay, all right. Not big. All right, give me just a second. I gotta set up. We are now going to do a paid album request. Like I said before, we are going to be doing Peter Gabriel's For Security album, which is I know nothing about it, but we're about to do that.
All right. Give me a second to get up and stretch.
Yeah, go
This could be a
ahead.
long stream. Don't want to fucking kill my back.
Bring it back.
Chat, give us just a second. We're I know this album, you haven't heard it yet. Fair enough. I do not know this album. Gonna make an extended track ranking for Radiohead just to glaze Faustar, but of course you are. Not surprised. Not surprised. Sorry about the typing, chat. Just doing some switcheroos real quick. You're still here. Thank you. Hope you guys stay for this one. Cole, talk to the chat real quick. I am making the
What's up, bitches?
Wow.
Was that rude?
A little, but I'll let
Oh.
it slide.
It's fine.
Welcome back, Noel. Welcome back,
Yep.
Cole. Putting this together real quick. Give me a sec. Also, chat real quick while I'm doing this. And Noah and Cole can tell me if you guys security stream. Did you guys enjoy the Fantano review? Do you enjoy stuff like that? Please let me know. Noah and Cole, tell me what they say. Real quick.
My lips been dry as shit.
All right, there we go. Almost done.
I seem to have enjoyed it.
No, this is not the Peter Gabriel album with a sledgehammer on it. That's a bit of a groover, though.
It was fun dunking on Fantano, so yes. Fantastic.
Gotta grab me some water.
Never heard of this. I haven't either. In fact, I basically know nothing about Peter Gabriel as a whole. So this will be a first time
That's
listen for me as well.
so lame. Haven't heard any Genesis. Missing out.
Very little. Very little.
One of the best prog rock bands.
All right, chat, let's see what we got. What's next on the album request list? Well, this one was at the top. We have a couple people who are we're gonna figure out whether or not we want to actually do theirs. And all the requests are open. They are paid album requests are once again open, and we are figuring out sort of the order and a schedule to do them in, because we need to figure out what we can do. We want to continue, of course, doing Pink Floyd's discography. I want to start the Strokes discography as well. But in order to do everything, we have limited time, so we got to figure out when and what we can handle, that type of stuff. But at the current moment, it's just this one, and then we're going to decide what we want to do from there. So, but feel free to contact us. You can DM us. You can do whatever you want, and send in your album request, or we'll negotiate a price. Send in your album request, and we'll talk about it as a group and figure out if we want to do that one or not. And then we'll negotiate the price.
All right. I would not call Genesis the greatest band ever. Their peak was not long enough. There's not enough good albums in there. There's some really good ones, but such a short period of time.
Also, while we're resetting, if you guys haven't joined our Discord, or follow us on Twitter, links in the chat. And I'm gonna go grab one water, and then we can get started. Let me give you guys. Yeah, I don't want to give you the jam link quite yet. Yeah, let me do that right before we record. 1 second.
Cool.
Yeah.
How many Genesis albums have you heard?
I want to say 3.
Do you remember which one you thought was the best one?
Hmm.
Please. You gotta have this right.
England.
Good pick. I'm sure your rating is completely different from mine, but you got the number one right. Good for you. I'm proud. God, I have no idea of what to expect. All I saw in Reading Music was this is art rock. And that could be so many different things. I just hope he sounds like the Peter Gabriel of Genesis.
Okay, I'm back. Also, I wanted to show off my new poster I put up right there. The white stripes. Beautiful little poster. A little closer.
I like my banner better.
I bet you do. I can't really. There we go.
Why have Meg White when you could have Sal? I knew that. I said that just because I knew it was gonna get Cole.
Oh my god. Okay. All right. I don't think I'm gonna name this guy who did this album request, particular one. He didn't request for a name, so I don't think I will. But how is Peter Gabriel connected to Genesis? I have no idea. I think he was in it.
Singer.
Singer. There you go. No, I'm gonna expect you to take the lead.
Yeah.
I know you don't probably know anything about the album, but I'm expecting you to take the lead on at least explaining who the hell Peter Gabriel is. 'Cause I
Yes, I
know
can do that.
nothing about him. All right. Everyone reset, ready to go?
Let me just get the dates for when Peter Gabriel was in Genesis.
Okay.
Because I'm not 100% sure when he left. Oh, actually, I know when he left, not when he joined.
Zeppelin, Floyd, and Grateful Dead are top 3 for Joel Guitar Eater. Okay. Grateful Dead's an interesting inclusion there.
One of those is not like the other.
Pink Floyd are the greatest ever. I'd say Zeppelin has a damn good shot at greatest hard rock band ever. They certainly have a shot at it, no doubt. Genesis is like greatest band ever from Pedro. Damn. Am I still muted? No, I'm not. Okay, good.
Okay,
I really don't know why people lose their minds for Genesis.
I do.
Love that. Yeah, the white
It's
stripes.
so well written. Really good guitar work too.
All right, let's get it going.
Only it wasn't corny as hell.
Let's get
Shut the
it-
fuck up.
Wow, let's get it going. Let's go.
Okay.
Also, if you're brand new here, or for some reason Peter Gabriel
but
fans are
Zeppelin
here,
can. But Zeppelin can talk about fucking Lord of the Rings and it's not corny. Okay.
if you are brand new here to the chat
Right.
in our live stream, first of all, thank you for joining. Second of all, hope you're here for enjoy the Peter Gabriel album we're about to go on. And third, we have a Discord. We're trying to get to 100 members. When we hit 100 members, we're going to do a music trivia tournament. So stay tuned to that. There will be prizes. And yeah, so join our Discord. The links are in the description. And let's get it going. What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the 3 Days Talking Podcast. Today, we are here with our first paid album request that we have reopened our paid album requests with. Thank you so much to the subscriber who paid a hefty sum for this one. We really appreciate it. For those who are new to our channel, we do paid album request, and you can DM us on either. You can do it on Twitter, you can join our Discord and DM us, or you can send us a message to our business email on YouTube as well. It's in the description, or should be at the channel description. We have some set prices for certain like criteria about it, but we can negotiate the price. And if we decide that we want to do your album, we'll negotiate a price and we'll do it. So feel free to do that. We're going to try and set up a schedule for those that we got, because we do have a bit of a queue for people who want to do it. So we'll try and get that going. But today, somebody has paid us to do a Peter Gabriel solo album titled Peter Gabriel 4: Security remaster version. This album came out in 1982. It is 8 songs, 46 minutes long. I know nothing about Peter Gabriel or the band he was with or his solo stuff. So Noah, I'm gonna leave it up to you. Tell us about Peter Gabriel.
Okay. So Peter Gabriel got his fame from being in the progressive rock band Genesis. He was in them from 67 to 75, where they created some really popular and important albums like Foxtrot, Selling England by the Pound, and The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. And after that Lamb Lies Down on Broadway in 75, he left the band and started to pursue his own career, and it seems like he did art rock. I have not heard any of his albums, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I haven't either. I haven't heard a single Genesis album. I haven't heard a single Peter Gabriel solo work. Cole, I know you're not a huge fan, if I remember, of Genesis. Was it because of Peter Gabriel or just the style of music Genesis did?
Style of music that they did.
Okay.
I'm indifferent as far as I remember to Peter Gabriel specifically. I just don't like their sound.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I ain't got anything else left to talk about it. I have no idea what we're getting into with Peter Gabriel 4: Security, but I'm excited to try it out. Again, thank you to the subscriber who requested this. Let us know if you guys want to do more of these, and we'll start with Peter Gabriel 4: Security with... Oh, I need to make a jam. That's right. First, got to make a jam. First, got to make a jam. That in there. Oh, that might not work. Drop that in there. Do the second one.
Oh yeah, I forgot flashbang warning. One day I'll turn it on dark mode. One day I'll get around to it.
Flashbang warning. All right, let's get going with the Rhythm of the Heat.
What the hell does Shock the Monkey mean?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that name and I was a little confused too.
Peter Gabriel ruled the 80s.
You sure he did, champ?
What do you think?
And that's definitely Peter Gabriel.
Oh boy.
Looking out the window, I see the red dust clear.
It's a very interesting
High up on
tone
the
right here.
red rock stands the shadow with the spear.
I can't tell if we're about to get art rocky or new wavy. They're loving on that synth.
Are you really hoping this turns out to be like a disciplined King Crimson situation?
I'd be happy if it was. That's a good album. I mean, a little derivative.
The rhythm is around me, the rhythm has control, the rhythm is inside me, the rhythm has my soul.
Wow. Okay.
Yep, he still sounds like Peter Gabriel. Still sounds really good.
These are some heavy drums.
These synths are so they're a little goofy.
Drawn across the plain land to the place that is higher, drawn into the circle that dances round the fire. We spit into our hands and breathe across the ponds, raising them up high, held open to the sun. Drawn across the plain land to the place that is higher, drawn into the circle that dances round the
I fuck with this.
Does he have German versions of his albums?
German?
That's what it looks like on Spotify.
I saw that.
Self-conscious, uncertain, I'm showered with the dust. The spirit enters into me and I submit to trust.
Ooh, got a little close there.
Smash the radio. Smash the watch. Smash the camera. The rhythm is around me. The rhythm has control. The rhythm is inside me. The rhythm has my soul.
Ooh.
Damn, Pete.
Damn! Holy Lord!
Oh, damn.
Okay. Are we boogie? Are we hard boogie?
Okay.
Wow. Wow. Energy. Just so much energy. That's all I can say. The rhythm of... I spell rhythm. Why am I always struggle spelling that word. R-Y-H... R-H-Y.
RHY.
Rhythm of the heat. All right, Noah. You are our dead set Peter Gabriel fan. What are we talking about here?
Okay. That song was a mixed bag. It definitely took a minute to really get going, But once we reached that middle section with the synths really going, I thought that was good. I enjoyed that. Then we got into the tribal, thing.
Right.
It was neat. I mean, it was definitely out there and enjoyable for the most part. Probably didn't need to be as long as it needed to be. That's my overall complaint with the song. I enjoy a good bit of it, but it feels a little too drawn out. I would give that a 6.5 to a 7.
6.5 to a 7. Cole?
Yeah, I didn't really care much for the first half at all. I was pretty uninterested, and I didn't really think the lyrics were all that good. I didn't think it had a particularly memorable melody or anything. I wasn't particularly big on the production, but I did like the little tribal drum outro thing. I thought that was kind of cool. Outside of that, it just felt like some, I don't know, generic 80s synth pop sort of thing.
Were you feeling the
I'll
rhythm
give
of
it-
the beat?
Nah, it's sort of.
Okay.
We'll see. I'll throw it a 5.
5. Wow. Okay. I thought the only real complaint I had about this, and maybe it's not even it's a bad complaint, is that the song was a little long, but it sort of ramped itself up twice. I thought it did it in the middle of the song and at the end of the song with that tribal beat that was banging on those congos or bongos or whatever the hell you want to call them. Just banging super rapidly on them at the end, and I thought he had a very good vocal performance, very powerful vocal performance for the type of song, the type of instrumental he was doing. It fitted very well. All about rhythm, obviously, with the title of the song and a lot of the lyrics. It's just a very rhythmic song. It's meant to be about that. You can clearly tell he was influenced by tribal music, I guess, and he decided to make it as the start of his song, the start of the album. Cool attachment to it. Probably had a little bit too much 80s-ness to it. Cole probably nailed that. Little you can definitely tell this is dated. It does sound a little dated regards like in terms of how they use the 80s pop sounds and 80s synth sounds. But outside of that, I thought it was great. I really appreciate it. I would give this like a 8. Strong start here. Really cool. Enjoyed the fundamentals of this for the most part. Does sound dated though. All right, chat. Let's see what we got. Oh, he goes full tribal without that. I love that. Yeah, he did. This is so 80s. It is very, very 80s. There's no doubt about that. Only album I've heard by him so far. 11 from Cosmic, 11 from Joel Guitar Eater, 9 out of 10, right up my alley from Vertigo 10 years ago. 7 from Alan Weinstein, 7.5 from Jonathan, 7 from Lava Jacob. A 5 is brutal. It is a little brutal. I think Cole's being a little harsh. That was way too sophisticated to be a 5. Damn. I think Cole, you are being a little harsh there. I'm not gonna lie. A little harsh.
I get it.
I don't care
Okay, fair enough.
that you think that.
All right, up next, Jacinto. I don't know. Oh. Okay, very different.
Whimsical.
Sander gave it an 8. Stephen Harrison gave it a 7.
Thick cloud, steam rising, hissing stone and sweat launch fire. Around me, buffalo robe, sage and bundle, rub on skin.
Agent bundle, rub on skin.
Outside, cold air. Stand, wait for rising sun. Red paint, eagle feathers, coyote calling, it has begun. Something moving in, taste it in my mouth and in my heart.
That's an odd lyric, man.
It feels like dark.
Probably overdoing this a little bit. I thought that was pronounced hyena. I was way off.
Medicine man, lead me up through town. Indian ground, so far down. Caught up and beach house a pool. Kids wearing water wings, drinking cool.
Very descriptive.
Follow dry with the bait. Watch scouts and guides make powwow signs. Past Geronimo's disco, Sitting Bull Steakhouse, White Men Dream.
Well, this reads like a movie script.
A rattle in the old man's taxi.
Hey, yo.
Look at mountain top, keep climbing up.
Okay, are we progressing?
Way above us, the desert snow.
3 more minutes to go.
White wind I hold the line.
Oh no.
Wow.
Strength that pulls me through the field.
That tone is something.
Jacinto,
The guitar tone's 280s.
Very 80s.
I hold the line.
Those horns are
Jacinto,
very 80s as well.
the poison light, the darkness take my sight. I hold the line.
Oh, that's a bass.
That's a bass?
Yeah. I forgot who their bass player, or Peter Gabriel's bass player was for a minute.
I'm losing it, getting weaker. I hold the line. I hold the line. Jacinto, yellow eagle flies down from the sun.
Hit that note, Peter.
Another minute and a half.
The second best rock singer named Peter.
Ooh. What are we doing?
Yeah, we're just gonna be a little psychedelic, I think, for the last minute.
We will walk on the land. We will breathe of the air. We will drink from the stream. We will live. Hold the line. Hold the line. Hold the line. We will live. Hold the line. Hold the line. Hold the line.
All right, just thinking ahead of time. I don't want to get hit with a bunch of warnings later on. That was Jacinto. This is it's a weird one to rank. I think I'll start here. So the first 2 minutes of the song, maybe even 2.5, were pretty cool because he was doing a very mellow, very descriptive lyrically, very mellowed sounding song where you could hear like his voice was very, he was pushing his voice to be very, the vocals were pushing to be very descriptive and trying to ed edge that's the wrong word, but trying to explain every word so you could understand what he was saying. About 2 minutes or so into it, whenever the progression hits and we get this very 80s guitar tone, and then they started going that the random voice comes in going talking saying hyena wakantanka. I probably butchered the hell out of that, but I don't really care because it was really weird sounding and I have absolutely no idea what it means, but it's very descriptive, this entire song lyrically. Obviously talking about some desert area outside of San Jacinto or in San Jacinto. This whole song was, so far these first two songs and this whole song is very built around Peter Gabriel's vocal performances here. The guitar tone came in and was just so 80s sounding, it hurt actually. It was just blaringly dated and not something I would really find myself listening to. Very stretched song, did not need to be 6.5 minutes long. Some good, a lot more bad, and a lot more things that I do not care about. This is getting a 5. Noah.
Like there's things I like. Like I'm not sure what instruments were playing the melody at the start. I liked that. I thought the lyrics were solid. I liked the vocal performance. I was just kind of waiting for it to progress into another section or, have an explosion. And when it does happen, it's just not what I would want it to be. Guitar tone was rough. It wanted to sound like really big, yet compressed at the same time. And I feel like that's never really the greatest mix. The bass was interesting. I could barely even tell it was a bass at first. But then I remembered who his bassist was. Tony Levin. Very good guy. Actually, I don't know if he's a good guy. I meant very good bass player. He was doing some freaky shit on like a fretless bass, it sounded like, with some crazy effects. Sounded cool.
Sure.
The synth tones are okay. They're not awful. They're not amazing. I'd give that a 6.
6. It's Cole.
I'm not really sure what he's trying to do right
I haven't
now.
figured it out either yet.
I don't even really know what genre I would classify this as. I can't really act like I thought any part of this was massively engaging. I think the production sounds a little too clean, I guess. It sounds too 80s for me. Yeah, this just mostly felt directionless, and production-wise, it just feels really generically 80s. I guess that was probably better than the first song.
Oh.
But marginally. Guess I'll throw like a 5.5.
5.5.
Okay.
All right.
Before we get into this next one, you can read chat, but let me really quickly grab my din-din.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okie dokie.
Let's see. Is Peter Gabriel in the Rock Hall of Fame as a solo artist? I have absolutely no idea. I would assume not. I would assume this is from his work in Gabriel, but I guess you can count both. 6 from Tim Leverton. Peter Lundman clears. I think Genesis is. They probably are. 8 from Rickster. 9 from Sander. Well, Dan was going to be 11, but it wasn't a Hold the Light, so now it's a 9 for Cosmic. Joel Guitar Eater gives it a 9. 6 was 6.5 from Lava Jacob. Songs that had nothing to my life. It was decent. First song was what I wanted to hear more of. 6.5 to a 7 from Vertigo. 7 from I'm Him. And the 80s sound ruined a lot of albums from around this time. I mean, some people did 80s sounds well. Some people just did not. And I think, we've only heard 2 songs about this album, and there's a high chance that this could get a lot better, but this does sound very 80s, no doubt. Parts of this instrument I think is great, but there's some stuff in here that does not age well at all. Vocal still solid. 7 from Hugo. And the song has some parts, but some good parts overall. So, yeah, I think there's a sort of a overall realization that there's probably too much in this song that is happening overall. His work in Gabriel. Did I say his work in Gabriel? Oh God. It's working Genesis, obviously. Love Gabriel, super underrated rock band. He's blending African sounds and rhythms using digitally recorded samples and manipulating these thanks to the advantages of the Fairlight CMI synthesizer. Okay, thank you for putting that in all caps, Sander. Cole, what's your favorite 80s song and band?
Favorite 80s song and band.
Sander, or no, Stephen Harrison wants to know.
Favorite 80s song. Probably Born Under Punches by Talking
Ooh.
Heads. Probably my favorite 80s song.
It's a great
Talking
pick.
Heads would be my favorite 80s band.
Well, they're hard to beat. Very, very hard to beat.
Either that or
Once in a
I mean,
Lifetime's
the
an
Talking
absolute
Heads is definitely my
banger.
favorite 80s band. The song, though, I mean, Structures from Silence title track by Steve Roach is up there. Against the Sky by Brian Eno is up there.
What you talking about?
They asked Cole what his favorite 80s song and band was.
Ah. Know what that'd be. Dinner's scrumptious.
Favorite
Big
song from the 80s is either Born Under Punches. I mean, you could also throw Once in a Lifetime.
Absolutely can. All right.
Either Born Under Punches, Once in a Lifetime, Structures from Silence, or the fucking other one I said, Against the Sky.
Let's move on to I Have the Touch.
I have the touch. Is it the invisible touch, perchance?
The cheese touch.
God, I hate that song. Invisible touch, yep.
Hugo, I think Once in a Lifetime is the better song, but my favorite song from that album is Born Under Punches.
'Cause I like the rush, the pushing of the people. I like it all so much. Such a massive motion. Do not know where it goes. I move with the movement and
You also never give Purple Rain a chance.
I certainly did. Let's go crazy blows. Respectfully, sorry. I just hate that song. I mean, there's other songs on it that are okay.
Not a Purple Rain fan. Sorry.
Either. I tried.
Let's see.
They have the touch.
Boy, this is 80s sounding. I mean,
Honestly, this fucking sounds like Purple Rain to me, or like some stuff on Purple Rain.
Well, listen to the guitar.
This,
Pretty cool.
I mean, this is so painfully 80s.
You know what? It sounds like something I'd listen to in like my mom's car, but I'd like kind of be grooving on with it. Not gonna lie, a little bit. Oh, okay. That was out of nowhere.
I have not heard that same.
You know what that is.
Sounds like Tarzan music. Boy, is in love with a synthesizer. Song sounds like it could be like the E.T. theme song.
Oh, that guitar. Awesome.
Mics are too loud. Bro, every stream we get told it's either too quiet or too loud. Y'all gotta get over it.
Nothing seems to please. I need contact. I need contact. Nothing seems to please. I need contact. Oh, I need contact.
The drums, I'm not big on them. Come on, Peter.
Come on now.
That was kind of awesome.
That might have been the fakest sounding drums I have ever heard in my life. Wow. All right, I have the touch. Not tough. Touch. Cole. You haven't gone first. You're up.
I feel like I just got the cheese touch from that.
Oh man.
Yeah, that shit's corny as fuck. Really hate the production. Just hate everything about the production. Feels fake, overblown, overly dramatic. Just don't like anything about it. Don't like the tones. The mix is not great. Just terrible.
Contact.
Lyrics were dumb. Don't really like the melody. But oh jeez. I mean, that's just like everything I don't like about 80s music right there. Yeah, I'm feeling like a 3.
3 from Cole. Noah.
Ooh. That one was a little rough. The hook of that song.
Contact.
Yeah, that's not your best moment, Peter.
Oh boy.
The drums were way too fucking loud. The overall sound of them, because I know it's like an electronic drum kit, the sounds that they chose were just rough. There was some like, decent stuff going on with the guitar, but then again, it's so compressed and back in the mix.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really, really 80s. I'll give it a 4.5.
4.5. Yeah, I mean, I was grooving for a little bit, for about 2 minutes. I was enjoying the groove, and I thought the instrumental was cool. It was very 80s sounding, of course, and we talk about how dated the sound so far. But I was grooving with it. I mean, that's something you just get in a car and put on the radio, and hey, it probably makes you groove for 2 minutes. Problem is, the song is 4.5 minutes long, and about 2 minutes in, it gets boring, it gets repetitive, it gets too long, and after that, it's like he decided, let's take the best parts of this and make it corny as fuck, and turn everything up to a 10, and make the drums sound uber loud and sound fake and electronic or whatever, almost, or like just like recorded like on a synthesizer or use the synthesizer drums. And the lyrics get a really, really dumb, and we take the core message and just make it super subliminal. And then at the end, let's make the lyrics really, really just cheesy. And put some dumb shit in, like contact. Like, what the fuck? You just ran out of ways to say contact. Just admit it. That's fine. You could have just cut the song off. We didn't need all that extra crap in it. It's fine. Yeah, unfortunately, he just ruined what could have been an interesting little groover song, and then he made it 2 minutes too long, and he added some really dumb shit into it. 3.5 to a 4. Just keep groovy songs are fine. It's gonna sound dated. You could have just kept it at a little groover that had nothing wrong with it.
Next one's a 7-minuter.
All right, tack, 4 out of 10 from I'm Him. I don't need the drums. Yeah, the drums really just took up everything. They really did. 7 to a 7.5 from Jonathan, 8+ from Rickster, masterpiece, 4.5 from Vertigo. I mean, some people just complain about anything Cosmic. The hook was rough. 4.5. Starting to think the album isn't for Lava Jacob. 4 from Cosmic. Hugo just doubles up Noah's score. Big 4 to mixing is really bad. Yeah, I'm surprised the mixing's been rough. I thought Peter Gabriel was like, the Genesis was known for decent mixing. That's what I thought.
Genesis is mixed good. It is.
I guess not from Peter Gabriel's perspective, because this sounds different. Oh my, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. All right, moving on to The Family and the Fishing Net. I don't know why the lyrics won't sing. It's quite annoying, actually. If I do this, exit. Nope. Okay, whatever.
7
7.5 from
minutes.
standard.
Let's see what goes down.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Did he get Nick Mason's wife on the feature with the tin whistle?
Is this a flute or one of those long Indian pipes?
Sounds like a flute. Oh yeah, because Peter Gabriel plays the flute.
Farting bass. We have a lot of instruments so far.
This sounds very Bowie,
Kind of does.
like 80s Bowie.
Cole is not enthused in the slightest.
I think he's slightly intrigued as to where this will go.
I'm concerned.
Cosmic, to answer your question, I have not heard a single song on this album. Or singer song by Genesis.
That's so sad.
Well, I may have heard a song by Genesis, but I don't remember it. I don't remember one.
None of the good ones.
Suffocated by mirrors.
Okay, I was right.
A honey belly holds the
7 minutes. Oh boy.
curves are stiff upon the hinge. Pale zeros tinge the tiger skin. Moist as grass, ripe and heavy as the night.
The word moist is in the
Sponges
song.
fall, well out of sight. All around the conversations I sing on the warm fresh cake. Light creeps through her secret.
Hey, yo!
Sucked into the open spaces.
Hard pause.
Okay,
That
Hugo.
last line.
Fucking Science Fair by Black Country New Road. I kind of get why you said that.
Draining blood from the well-fed faces.
11 is on bass.
Played with King Crimson.
Oh, that's cool. Don't like this clapping thing. This is, not needed.
Yeah.
What the hell? Where are we? He's not even on the lyrics. Wow.
Desire forms in subtle whispers. Flex the muscles in denial. Up and down its pristine cage. So the music, so the trial. Thousand sacrifice. Headless chickens. Dance in circles.
These lyrics are so. Okay. Bro just held out the most random note of all time.
I'm gonna have to make you listen to some Genesis after this to like make you view him better.
What is going on with this guitar?
That's kind of cool.
Clapping is not necessary. Wow, the drums are loud. Just so loud.
I just realized that. Holy
They
shit.
are massive. Bro's got
Like the
a
FBI at my door.
inside the drum.
A little bit of a groove.
Kinda.
And the talk goes on.
Mm.
I thought he said taco for a second, but this This is such a weird album. This is so
Yeah,
weird.
it's art rock.
Memories crash on tireless waves. The lifeguards
That bass remains farting.
the winter saves. Memories crash on tireless waves. The lifeguards whom the winter saves. Silence falls, the guillotine. All the doors are shut.
I don't fuck with the amount of progression he has on this song. Too many parts.
This is what we call failed experiments.
That was a cool noise.
Those are some horrifically dark lyrics for having that type of groove. Okay. That was The Family in the Fishing Net. Ugh. This has been just odd. Noah.
Oh, that was a lot to digest in 7 minutes. A lot of different parts.
Yeah.
And I somehow don't remember much of them at all. That was a pretty forgettable one, in my opinion. I just felt incredibly indifferent throughout listening to it. Nothing was amazing and nothing was terrible. I wish I had more to say about it, but that's really just all I have. 5?
5. All right. Cole.
This songwriting is just a mess. It's just
All
it's
over the place.
such a mess. It's. Oh, I mean, he's trying to be like experimental and weird in this '80s kind of formula, but I just think it ends up sounding cluttered and a borderline disaster of songwriting. I still hate everything about the production. It feels so fake and generic to me. I don't really care about his lyrics either. Yeah, 4.
Or, well, I was very, very confused, and I won't make this very long because I don't think it really deserves it. This song went all over the place. It had multiple progressions, but they were some of them were short, some of them made no sense for the song, and it just felt like he was throwing shit at the wall and seeing what stuck on this song. The lyrics at the end are very, very dark and grim for the type of groove that was playing. Did not match the instrumental at all. And honestly, I'm not a fan of having super dark lyrics with a groovy instrumental. That doesn't tend to work very well. I think that was a big misfire. I thought there were some cool moments. The drums were very loud, very in your face, aggressive drums throughout the song, and probably stuck around too long. Some cool progressionary moments, but overall, this song misses in a lot of spaces. I think Cole's dead on. This is a 4. Not something I would listen to again. It would take a lot for me to listen to it again, I guess.
Anyone know what the hell this cover is?
I have absolutely no idea. Let me take a look-see here.
Kind of neat.
No, I do not. I really don't. I do not
Fucking
know.
creepy. Let's see if like
And yeah,
nightmare fuel.
Jonathan, I don't know what the song was about either. I have absolutely no idea. I couldn't tell you. I have seen some Kate Bush. Some people saying this sounds like Kate Bush. I've only heard one album by her, but I don't know how the hell you could say this sounds like Kate Bush.
I'll save my opinions.
Okay.
I've heard enough Kate Bush to know how I feel.
Jill Guitar Eater said, damn. Sander gives it an 8. 8 from Rickster. Not a lot taken, not very memorable. 5 from Vertigo. 6.5 to a 7 from I'm Him. 5.5 from Hugo. Does sound like a bad... This really does sound like a bad for the first time song sometimes. Again, some cool stuff, but a lot of annoyances. 8 from Jonathan. 6.5 from Lava Jacob. Strong 9 from Joel Guitar Eater. Big fan of this style, I guess. A guy sitting on a bus. Maybe. All right, time to move on to quick Shock the Monkey.
Oh, I really do not want to listen to The Dreaming again. I'm sorry.
This does not sound like Running Up That Hill. Are you kidding me? My favorite songs by Kate Bush.
This is closer to Kate Bush than you would like to admit.
It is offensive to Kate Bush.
What does that mean? Come on, Cole, get in your bag.
You can ape the ape? What? Don't you monkey with the monkey? Okay. Lyrically, we've tossed anything out the window here. This is done. Bro, he's got to be trolling with these lyrics. Come on, man. Wow.
He has to be trolling.
Oh my god. This guitar is so 80s. This is horrible.
He's reading some fantastic lyrics.
I hate this.
This has got to be a joke.
This is
awful. I hate this part.
right.
At least that part's over. This is kind of cool. Why are the drums so fucking loud on every song?
God. Every time he says monkey, a year of my life gets taken.
Bro, we're not living very long. What are you talking about?
It's overly bouncy.
Oh my god. This might be the most overdone hook I've ever heard from the 80s. The most 80s sounding hook I've ever heard. No, he's had like 60 monkeys, bro. You don't got a long to live.
Yeah, I'm about to have an aneurysm at my desk at this point. It's about to take me.
I'm praying for one right now.
I'm praying for another monkey right now. There it goes.
He just had a monkey.
Monkey!
Take a year off in your life.
Monkey.
It's kind of funny. Monkey.
This is
It's
not
kind of
real.
funny.
This is wow. This is a 5.5 minute song.
This might be the first album Cole uses the definition of why he thinks the 80s didn't exist.
The 80s absolutely did not exist, and if you need any more evidence, I don't even know what to tell you.
Yeah, this is fucking crazy, dude.
Holy, bro. 5.5 minute song about monkeys. 8 monkeys. 1 monkey.
Hell yeah, Pete.
This is not real.
I'm gonna do a hair metal singer.
You know, it's a good vocal line. It's just he's saying the stupidest thing.
It's actually a really bad vocal moment.
I like it. But
I'm gonna look at the
he's
lyrics.
saying that with that.
Sounds like the guy from Twisted Sister.
Oh,
I'd really like to go first.
Wow, that was a song.
no,
Go for it,
I'll
Noah.
grant your wish. Shock the monkey.
Oh.
By the way, he said
Monkey.
monkey 74 times in that song, so you got about 5 years to live, brother.
How do you know
I
that?
got
I
about
just
5
went-
minutes.
I went to the lyrics of the website and then typed in monkey, find monkey, and it said 74 times.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. That summarizes half of the song. Monkey and a snare drum. Just my,
What the
This
fuck
fella-
is that song?
it just felt like my head was getting beat in by a drum kit, and every once in a while, Gabriel would come in and say, "Monkey."
No, he'd say, shock the monkey. Okay.
Oh my god, that was bad, but I really enjoyed listening to it. That was really fun. It was like
Oh.
every like 80s music motif put into one song, and it almost felt like satire.
It was 80s in a nutshell.
Like this seems like something like Weird Al would have done. I don't know. That was fucking nuts.
I think
feeling
Weird
like
Al listened to that song and was like, how could I even parody this? It's already a parody.
Yeah, it parodied itself.
itself.
Oh, I'm feeling like okay, never mind. That's actually too high. I gotta erase that. Yeah, a solid 1 feels good.
Ooh.
That was actually one of
From
the
the
worst
guy
songs
who
I've
said
heard
he
in a while.
enjoyed parts of it. Cool.
I enjoyed parts of it in a funny way.
Yeah, that was a train wreck. That was brutal. Really funny in that it's idiotic. I'm trying to think of a reason that it was. I'm trying to think of anything that was good about it, but I don't really
Yeah,
have anything.
I think some of his vocals where he went like, shock the monkey. Like,
No,
over
actually,
that
when he
was
went
kinda-
higher pitched, it was even worse. I really hated when he went higher pitched. I thought it was terrible.
That's an interesting.
I'm feeling a good old 1. That feels
Wow.
I like Noah's score there. That was really bad.
Yeah, okay. If you even if you love 80s music and you love how overdone everything is on 80s songs, even you gotta admit this is like every 80s isotrope put in together at once and just thrown, and you're like, holy shit, this is like overblown to the max of what? Okay. All right. I'm gonna continue talking. Not only were the lyrics fucking redundant and just awful, it's almost like he was trying to make fun of the fact that he wrote an entire song about shocking monkeys, because the way he was singing it was like he was actually passionate about this song. Like he was like, shock the monkey. Like he was really putting in some effort into this vocal performance, like real effort. Everything was overblown. The drums were banging loud for no reason. It's so 80s that it's actually painful. Usually don't agree with you two, but I think straight up this is bad. This is just a bad song. It's a 1. I'll go with you guys on it. I didn't think I'd have 3 1s, but it's a 1. That was rough. What the hell is so funny?
That's a good ice.
Yeah.
I
What is an isotrope?
Either isotrope or isotope I was talking about.
Isotope. It's isotope, and that's like a fucking scientific. That's like an atom.
No,
What the fuck does
I
that have
said
to
the right
do?
word. I said isotrope. That's exactly what I wanted. That is what.
What the
I wanted.
fuck
What
does
does
that mean?
isotrope mean?
When like, I was talking about how like all these 80s parts of this song or album come together into
Tropes.
everything that you think about for
Tropes.
yes, but I'm talking about all the individual tropes put together into one. That's what this is. All the isolated tropes.
Yeah.
slammed together into
Isotrope.
one. Yes.
God, what's that Breaking
It's
Bad
not
clip
a word.
where he says, yeah, science,
It's
Yeah,
science.
Mr. West.
science.
Or not Mr. West. Why did I say Mr. West?
Anyway.
Yeah, Mr. White.
Chat gives Vertigo proper monkey business of a song -10 out of 10. 7 to 7.5 from Jonathan, big fan. What album is GameStop Frontiers on? I have no idea. 5.5 from Lava Jacob. 3 from I'm Him. 8.5 from Sander. 1.5 from Hugo. David Hasselhoff made more authentic music than this. Joel Guitar Eater thinks it's very funny and great. I'm Him is giving it a 1.2. Isotrope. I said it right. Yeah, I did. 80s.
Isotrope is not a word.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Look it up. It's a word.
Isotope is
No,
a word.
Isotrope
Isotrope.
is a word. Look it up. Google it right now.
That's a chemical compound.
I wasn't talking about an isotope. I was talking about isotrope.
Yeah, and that's not
And
fucking
exactly
real.
what I wanted to say. It is real. Literally Google it. I don't understand.
Isotrope is a made-up word in English derived from the concept of isotropy.
What the fuck is that?
All right, you know what? I literally Googled this a second
It's
ago.
isotope. It's not isotrope.
Isotrope is a term used in the context of isotropy, which means something has the same properties or characteristics when measured in different directions. It's literally what I meant was taking all the individual parts of 80s music and throwing it into one song. That's what this did. That's
You
exactly
could have
how I
said
wanted to-
trope, though.
But it
Which
was-
is a
I-
word
I
and
could-
makes
I
sense.
could have said individual tropes of it, but I wanted to talk about each one like in one word. So it is a word and it makes sense.
It's not a word.
It is a word.
It's not a word. I mean, it's a
not
word.
It's
It's a.
not in the dictionary.
It's
According to Google, it's a word.
What's the word? Like, it's not
Well, according to
slang,
the
but
dictionary, it's not a word.
Well, I'm taking Google. Also, I'm
Over
changing
the
it
dictionary
to a
for
1.
what a word is?
Yes. Also, I'm changing
Okay,
it to a
do
1
that.
just to join the club. There you go, Hugo. It is a word, but I don't think it's this the right context. I think it's right context, and I think it's the right word. I'll give them most of the
It's
time
not
I get
even a
things wrong.
word.
I think I'm 100% right on this one.
It's not even a word.
All right, we gotta continue. Up next, lay your hands on me. See if we can make a
No,
comeback here,
Peter.
Mr. Gabriel.
after that one, you cannot lay your hands on me. After Shock the Monkey.
Oh boy.
I'm getting scared.
What in the fuck?
Sat in the corner of the garden grill with the plastic flowers on the windowsill.
What are we getting?
Oh, spit! Rap! Bars!
No more miracles, loaves and fishes. Been so busy with the washing of the dishes.
Oh my
Oh.
god, is he actually rapping?
God damn it. Oh, pee it.
Reaction levels much too high.
What is
Oh
that
my lord.
transition?
I can do without the stimuli.
Hit me. Hit me in the face. Somebody punch me in the face.
You're a little far now for me to do that.
I'm living way beyond my ways and means, living in the zone of the in-betweens.
Tony, you can request an album. There's links in the description. DM us on Discord or DM us on Twitter. Or send an email to our business agent.
Watched down by the distant eyes.
Lord.
That sounds so much like Genesis Peter Gabriel.
By the silent, hidden spies.
Drums are loud, but they're not as in your face as they were on the previous song.
The percussion's interesting. Well, it was, not anymore.
He was ahead of his time.
I mean, yeah.
It's only common sense. There are no accidents round here. I'm willing. Lay your hands on me. I'm ready. Lay your hands on me. I believe. Lay your hands on me. Oh,
Oh, good God.
Oh, what a vocal
Why
run.
does he keep doing that?
Walking in gardens,
Oh
thornless
my God, the
roses,
drums.
Fat men play with their garden hoses.
They're so loud.
Inside love has a cynical bite, sausage speared by the cocktails.
What are you What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm sorry you don't have the IQ to understand Peter Gabriel's a lyrical genius.
Sausage speared by the cocktail satellite. Tell me what that means, Noah.
Paints a picture, I guess.
Why the fuck you lying?
but still the warmth flows through me. And I sense you know me well.
I'm gonna have to listen to a Genesis album after this.
Just
Reinstill my faith in this guy.
It's only common sense. There are no accidents round here. I'm willing. Lay your hands on me. I'm ready. Lay your hands on me. I believe. Lay your hands on me. Oh,
wow.
Phil Collins?
Beating the absolute shit out of these drums. This may be the first album I can legitimately say drums gotta be overly loud. Wow. Dramatic. Very dramatic. Lay your hands on me. I'll go first on this one. Yeah, okay. This song is a really odd one because lyrically, I don't understand this shit at all. He is saying a lot of descriptive words, but they don't add up together in the slightest. Like, when he says, I can see the flashes on the frozen ocean, living in the zone of the in-between, static charge of the cold emotion. It rhymes. It certainly has the same flow, but what the hell does that mean? There are some either ones, like, I'm not going to bother saying all of them, but there's so many lyrics on here, I have no clue what he's even referencing. There doesn't seem to be a metaphor, it just seems to be descriptive. The only things that make sense are the actual hook where he just goes, lay your hands on me. At least he's referencing something there, like you can understand what he's trying to communicate. This song, again, with part of this album, I'm having a problem. These drums, usually drums are my favorite instrument, and I love big drums, but this one are huge. They are pounding. They take up the entire mix. And I mean, whether it's the African drums at the beginning of the album or the ones we've had, the recent ones where it's more electronic sounding, they're just too big. They take up too much. I don't know if Peter Gabriel was known for this in Genesis. I don't know if Genesis was known for this, but it's loud and it's obnoxious. I think part of the vocals are okay. I do appreciate his vocal performance for the most part. He's a bit eccentric, very dramatic. Definitely lays a tone on some good tones, a bit over the top on some others. Not offensive in any stretch like the last one was, but certainly is not reaching levels of like, wow, that was really peak stuff. 4 is 4.5 would be fine. Cole.
Oh, this is getting to be a slog to get through for me.
Well, we're almost done.
Can't stand the production. Just hate everything about it on every song here, really. The tones are just dumb as hell. Everything sounds fake and generic and stupid. His songwriting is, I don't really know what he's trying to do with his song structures because
It's so all over the place.
yeah, it's just a mess. There's no cohesion to any of it, and it doesn't really flow all that well for me. Um, I'm not really getting what he's going for here on any of these songs, really. I'm gonna give this a 3.
3. Noah, are you gonna bring it back up?
I mean, a little bit.
Okay.
I really just don't like the way it's mixed.
Yeah, the mix
I
has been
don't-
brutal.
I don't like how up in your face the drums are compared to everything else, because as we all know, drums are not exactly a melodic instrument.
No, they are far
And then-
from melodic.
And like the guitars are just compressed to shit. In the background, you got some synths, I guess, but the tones aren't great. I didn't pay attention to the lyrics super hard because it's really hard to want to after a song like "Shock the Monkey." I really didn't want to relive past traumas and I was just hoping he wasn't gonna create another nightmare for me. But come on, Peter. I really believe in you to bring out an absolute bop, but this ain't it. 4.5.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what chat thought. I'm seeing some higher ratings for this one. I'm a drummer and this tune gets a big 10 from Rickster. Okay, well, the tune's fine. It's how loud it's mixed. That's the problem. I didn't say anything wrong with it. It's just the mixing needs to be changed because it's just so overtaking everything else. 9 from Sander. 8.5 from Jonathan. Beautiful soundscape. Wow, big fans. Okay. 4.5 from Vertigo. Get your hands off me. The drums are amazing. They certainly probably could have been if they had mixed it better. I maybe stop by for like 2 minutes. How's the album so far? I think chat and us are having very different opinions on this album, so we're not loving it so much right now. Chat is much bigger fans, at least the ones that are enjoying some Peter Gabriel. A strong 11 from Joel Guitar Eater. If we take the lyrics out and mix it better, it'll barely hit a 6 from I'm Him. We are all over the place. I don't know what you guys are talking about. This guy, Pete, is a pretty cool cat. 4 from Hugo. They're giving ones. After this, can y'all react to Humbug? Not today, but at some point in the future, sure. All right, have a good one, AT Field. Thanks for coming.
Got a lot on our plate to record.
We do. Yeah, I mean, chat, look, overall, I'll say that this is I think a lot of people are going to have ratings all over the place because either you love this sound or it's just way too 80s for you and you don't love it. That's where I'm seeing. So we'll see. All right, up next, Wallflower. I'm really hoping he can bring it back before the end of this album.
I do, Sander, and I do get that reference. At least within the Genesis context.
Oh, another flute.
Oh, hell yeah.
Flute.
We're about to get serene.
feels like the soundtrack from a 80s movie at the very end of a movie.
From wall to wall, shutters on the windows, no light at all. Damp on the floor, you got damp in the bed. They're trying to get you crazy, get you out of your head. And they feed you scraps and they feed you lies to lower your defenses. No compromise, nothing you can do. The day can be long. Your mind is working overtime. Your body's not too strong. Hold on. Hold on. Hold
I like that vocal.
Put you in a box so you can't get hurt. Let your spirit stay unbroken. May you not be deterred. Hold on. You have gambled with your own life, and you face the night alone, while the builders of the cages sleep with bullet spars and stone.
Cages. Genesis reference?
See your road to
I wouldn't be
freedom
surprised.
that you build with flesh and bone.
The African influence on this album is really surprising.
They take you out and the light burns your eyes to the talking room. It's no surprise. Loaded questions from clean white coats. Their eyes are all as hidden as their Hippocratic oath. They tell you how to behave.
It's actually a bar.
Behave as their guest. You want to resist them, you do your best. They take you to your limits, they take you beyond. For all that they are doing, there's no way to respond. Hold on. Hold on. They put you in a box so you can't get hurt. Let your spirit stay unbroken. May you not be deterred. Hold on. You have gambled with your own life, and you face the night alone, while the builders of the cages sleep with bullet spars and stone.
Fill in the drums just a little bit, please.
Yeah, it makes you think like a big moment's about to happen. It doesn't happen. Oh no.
Why did they only bring that in for a second?
Though you may disappear, you're not forgotten here. And I will say to you, I will do what I can do. You may disappear, you're not forgotten here.
There we had Wallflower. If you don't mind, I'd like to take reign at this.
Go ahead.
Cole's having fun. So I actually will say for the most part this song was it was a little sleeper, but for the most part I enjoyed it. I like the lyrics more than any song so far. I thought he actually had somewhat of a structure lyrically. I thought he had some type of momentum and message he was trying to get across. So lyrically, I give it like a 7 out of 10. It at least made cohesive sense, and it probably had he was probably, you know, going against the establishment or whatever, and that type of stuff that people in the music love to do, especially in the 70s and 80s. The best part about this was the groove. Well, not the group, but the instrumental part of it, where it was just like the drums would come in for a second, but they weren't overbearingly mixed, except on a couple hits there, here and there. I thought the flute was probably a really good addition that could have been used more. I actually enjoyed it. The African flute sound, it was really cool. I will give major props, and probably the first time I'll give him major props on this album, to his vocals. I thought his vocals were the best on this album so far. This was where he actually sounded very, very genuine, and he wasn't being like stupid corny. It wasn't sounding funny corny. It actually sounded a bit genuine. He didn't overstretch it. He didn't overplay it. He just did it right at the same. He did the exact type of emotional lyrics that you would hope, even though it wasn't a very emotionally lyrical song. He just had a very emotional vocal performance in some aspects, but not overdoing it like he had been doing it plenty this album. Overall, probably the best song I've heard so far. Maybe the Rhythm of the Heat at the first one, so like probably like a 7.5. Noah.
I'll appreciate that this song was more grounded than a few of the other ones. It definitely had a much more solid structure to it. I just wish it developed. It felt like it never developed. Also not crazy about the keyboard tones on it. Those are a little rough. That was not a fan of the flute either. That sounded like some Discovery Channel shit. Vocals were solid. The lyrics were definitely a lot better than it's been at some points on this album. I don't know. I just wish it progressed. Especially for how long the song was. 5.
5. All right. Cole?
Just so boring. Just shoot me in the face. This is boring.
No, I disagree with that.
Horrible production. Just still as bad as it's been. Just the shitty ass generic 80s production that drives me fucking insane. I don't even remember what happened on this song, because it was so hard for me to pay attention to it. Not a moment of real value in any of it. I feel nice giving this a 4.
4. Wow. Okay. I disagree. I don't think it was overly dramatic on the 80s thing, as has been the case in the most of this album. I'll say that you've been right about, but I don't think it was overly dramatic like it was on the rest. All right. Yes, I know we had a sub alert. I actually have gotten them to work. We're not going to use text to speech on subs, but hopefully when we get new subscribers, it'll give a little ding and their name will pop up on the stream for you guys. So hopefully that won't get annoying. If it does get annoying, let us know if you think it's trash, but we'll keep it for now. 9 from Rickster, doesn't progress. 6.5 to a 7 from I'm Him. 8.5 from Sander, second best on the album. 6.5 to a 7, pleasantly surprised for this album from Vertigo. 7.5 to an 8 from Jonathan. Liked how simple it was, made the lyrics hit harder. Drums were really well done. Straight up 11 from Joel Guitar Eater. I mean, this is better than most of the tracks on here. Instrumentation is still not my cup of tea though. Hugo gives it a 6 and a 4. Definitely agree with Cole from Lava Jacob. All right, fair enough. Well, we have reached the end of Peter Gabriel for Security with Kiss of Life. Wow. What the fuck are we getting here?
yeah, the lyrics. Peter.
Oh my gosh. Alan Weinstein, thank you so much. The super chat.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Didn't write anything, but thank you very much, bro.
Huge ups.
The
Fun
percussion's
little
really.
hair emoji.
The percussion's getting on my nerves.
Why is he saying it like that, man?
Big woman.
What is this progression? What are we doing? She blows hard, she blows deep in the mouth of death. Say that out loud to yourself one time. Don't sing it. Say it out loud.
These drums they piss me off. They're too loud and doing too much. No, Hugo. It was Phil Collins' fault. We will always think that, even after hearing this. That goddamn keyboard.
Okay.
Holy guacamole.
Hell, there's just so much going on. All right.
Just getting overstimulated with video game.
I absolutely am. Fuck me. All right, Noah, you're first.
Well, that was the last song, so should we... Actually, that's not how we do it, never mind.
Not.
I almost forgot how we do things after this album. I love Genesis. I love you, Peter Gabriel. What the fuck is this? His vocal delivery on this song really pissed me off. The lyrics are so goofy. The keyboard was annoying. The drums were too loud. The tone of them. They annoyed me too. It was just... This song was just overall very irritating for me. Was it as bad as Shock the Monkey? No. Was it still bad? Yes. I'm feeling a 3.
3 from Noah. Okay. Cole?
I'm really glad that's over. I want to come up with a different criticism than what I've already given, but I don't really have one because this is all just like my problems have been consistent throughout this entire thing. I hate the production. His writing is boring or it's just a mess and lacks any kind of real substance to it. His lyricism has been either stupid or just forgettable. And I don't really feel like anything can change with this song. 3.5 to a 4.
3.5 to a 4. So again, the biggest problems I've been having with this album has been the mixing by far, and his eccentric, over-the-top, dramatic vocals, which were just on display once again here. The lyrics weren't nearly as bad as Shock the Monkey, but my God, were they just cheesy again. Kiss Life wasn't terrible though. I like the hook a bit. The again, I don't understand the purpose of bringing in, slowly ramping up these massive mixing or the massive instrumental sounds that you're making if you're not going to have a build for it, if you're not going to progress it to something. He's just ramping them up at the end and it just dies. It just dies off. There's nothing there. And it's not even big or loud. The whole thing is ramped up, like mainly the percussion though, but the whole thing gets slowly ramped up. Normally that's cool and there's a big ending to it and it becomes worth it, but it's not working on this and there's no big payoff. It's just ramped up for nothing and it kind of gets annoying. The mixing on this was just again poorly done. I think it deserves a 4.5 probably at the end of the day. All right, let's see what chat thought. Big woman, indeed. I would like to change all my scores to a 2.5 from Lava Jacob. Great tribal dancey groove, tribal rhythms. Phil still made it in the air tonight, which is an unforgivable sin. Hey, that song's a banger. 7.5 from Sander. Go ahead.
I applaud the amount of people who are in here and stayed for this.
Yeah.
You are a better
Real
person than me.
troopers. Real troopers.
I would have been fucking out of here after Shock the Monkey. Holy shit.
8 from Rickster.
Oh, thank you.
4 from Vertigo. Yes, thank you. 8 from Rickster, 4 from Vertigo. This is fire. 2 out of 10 from I'm Him. Interesting song. Drum rhythm is very nice. Powerful. 8 from Joel. Guitar Eater. 8.5 from Jonathan. I don't know. I'm just going to ditto Noah again. Don't care enough to talk about that much from Hugo. 3 to a 3.5. All right. We've made it to our final rankings. The end of Peter Gabriel for Security, a paid album request. Thank you very much to the subscriber who gave it to us. It's final rankings time. Noah, our resident Peter Gabriel Genesis fan, start us off with Peter Gabriel for Security. For those who never been here before, we rank our top. We put our top 3 of the album in order. We rank it 1 to 10, and we give our final thoughts on it. Noah.
Well, thank you for prefacing Peter Gabriel Genesis fan.
Yes.
Holy. At 3, I guess I'll go The Family and the Fishing Net. 2, San, yeah. I'm not that. Yes, San that. And 1, The Rhythm of the Heat. I had no clue what to what to expect. Because, when I read something's main genre as art rock, that's a very wide amount of things it could be. And this ended up being on the worst side. I was a little worried when I saw the year this album came out, 82. That's when people really started piggybacking on that 80s sound. A little corny, aged pretty bad. Was not big on how drum-centric he was with the mixing. Overall, I think I'm going to stick with Genesis, guys. Hot take. I think I like Genesis more. I'll give that a 5. 4.5 to a 5.
4.5 to a 5. I'll let Cole finish. My top 3 of the album is going to be Jacinto, Wallflower at 2, and Rhythm of the Heat at 1. Yeah, sort of on the boat here with Noah, except I have never heard Peter Gabriel or Genesis before. Definitely never heard a full album by them, so I didn't really know what to expect. I knew Peter Gabriel was a bit of an eccentric, in-your-face singer. I didn't know how dramatic this one was going to be. Very eccentric, very dramatic. Very 80s sounding, extremely 80s sounding. Probably the most 80s sounding album I've ever heard in my life. Took every single criticism that the 80s often gets and just put it into one album. Lyrically, I thought this album was very mediocre. Very kind of disappointed with the lyrics. I don't know, and Noah can tell me, but I don't know about Peter Gabriel's Genesis lyrics, but this did not seem to have a very set direction on most songs lyrically, and some of them were just stupid, like Shock the Monkey. Very corny. I had a decent song on the start, and was looking forward to it for the rest of the album. It dramatically fell off after that. A couple comebacks where he did sound a bit better vocally, like Wallflower, where he looked like he gave a bit of actual effort, and it wasn't just like cheesy, corny 80s vocals. Outside of that, it's a mess. It's directionless on so many songs. It's poorly written and is poorly mixed. It feels mean, but I'm gonna give it a 4. All right, Cole. I feel like Cole might not even give it a 4.
No.
What were my 3 highest ratings?
You had a
No
5.5
idea.
on San Jacinto, a
Definitely
5
my
on the Rhythm of the
mistake now.
Heat, and that 5.5 on San Jacinto was your highest. Rhythm of the Heat with a 5, and your second highest was a 2, tied at 4.
Could not care less which one you put at 3.
Family in the Fishing Net at 3, Rhythm of
Sure.
the Heat at 2, and San Jacinto for you at 1.
Yeah, sure. That was awful. I just hated that. Hated that. That was really bad. The songwriting was, at its best, it was a mess. At its worst, it was painfully 80s and generic. But an even worse offender was the horrendous production that was everything I don't want, or everything I hate about the 80s sound, at least from bad 80s music. Like, it was just so cliche, generic 80s production with overblown drums, stupid tones, just dumb vocal effects. Didn't like the lyrics. Really didn't like much of anything about it. I'm feeling like a 3 on this album.
I had a feeling you might go pretty low on it. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Well, there it is. There's our Peter Gabriel For Security album review. Thank you very much to the subscriber who requested this. I hope it was everything you were looking for. Sorry we didn't like it. Maybe you did like it. Maybe you didn't. I don't know. Maybe you just wanted to hear our opinions and takes on it. Hopefully you still enjoyed it. Thank you to all the people who might be here for the first time. Any Peter Gabriel fans, I hope you guys don't hate us after this. But stick around, subscribe. We do tons of album reactions. And if you're new here for the first time, leave a like down below and hit subscribe. Hit the bell to get notified when we go live. We are also we have a Discord. You can join it in the description below. You can give your Peter Gabriel takes, whether you like him, dislike him, or don't care about him, or you like him in Genesis more. We'll give it down in the description. Join our Discord and give it in the description. And follow us on Twitter. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoy. See you in the next video. All right, chat. Thank you guys for sticking around. We really appreciate it. Let's see what people gave it. This is 3 to a 3. No, oh, that was from the video. Album's a 2 out of 10. Overall rating 10 from Joel Guitar Eater. Gave the album a 10. I'll give this album an 8. It's fun. Rickster out. Thank you, Rickster. It's a 4 from Alan Weinstein. 8.5. Melt is slightly better from Sander. 3+ from I'm Him. Don't need to rank songs. So I didn't like any song. Joe Guitar Eater 1 Shock the Monkey, 2 Rhythm of the Heat, 3 Family and the Fishing Net. Lava Jacob 1 Rhythm of the Heat, 2 Family and Fishing Net, 3 Everything Else. Hugo 1 San Jacinto, 2 Rhythm of the Heat, 3 Wallflower. I guess Peter Gabriel Fedo Coming in the Air 2, a 4 out of 10 from Hugo. Sanders said momentary lapse reason a very 80s Floyd album, which is why they released a new mix, not sounding so overproduced. Jonathan, 1 Lay Your Hands, 2 Kiss of Life, 3 Family and the Fishing Net. Gives the album an 8 to an 8.5. A lot of fans of this album. A lot of fans.
I had to throw a Genesis album on right instantly to make me still feel good about him. Ooh,
well,
that was...
Thank you guys for those who stuck around. Tony gives it a 3.5. The lyrics were so funny. They were dumb funny, I guess you could say. Thank you guys for sticking around. For those who were here since the Fantano reaction, really appreciate it. Hope you guys did enjoy, even if the album wasn't your fancy or you enjoyed a lot. Thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate it. And we will do our next album reaction will be Pink Floyd's Wish You Were Here. So stick around for that. And